All right, you two ready to get back to recording?
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm so ready. Ugh, it's been so long since we've done this.
Oh, yeah, I didn't tell you guys. I may have done a full upgrade of the office during the break.
Oh, sweet. Glad we're finally upgraded. Although, how did you manage that?
Well, thanks to a certain sponsor that you love so much, I got the funds to upgrade it.
But didn't we make that up?
Hey, my favorite, nicesegue.com. Let's go. Knew I could count on them.
Well, without further ado, here's our new set.
Oh, thank goodness, seats! Oh, standing all those times got tiring after a while.
Yep. I can definitely get used to this.
Well, get comfortable, because this is here to stay. Well, unless we get bored of it, but that'll take a while. Now, let's get into this. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of BrobusCast. I'm your host, Brobuscus. With me today is ZDogg.
I thought you were dead. My death was greatly over-exaggerated.
And Richard.
We're alive.
Indeed we are. Despite evidence to many people who don't watch this channel outside of Death Battle content, despite evidence to the contrary.
Yeah, well, people just need to know that Death Battle content creators can make other stuff.
Indeed.
Just remember that. But, you know,
It's almost
whatever.
It's almost like we have a life outside of Death Battle. I know, crazy.
Whoa, that's a crazy thought. No way.
Wow.
But anyways,
that being said,
it has been a while, hasn't it?
Indeed, it has.
Oh,
It's
holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when unfortunate circumstances happen, you know, it does that to you. It does that to you.
Yeah.
Whether or not you want it to happen, but what are you gonna do?
So long, I almost grew a beard.
It's been so long that I forgot how to do this podcast intro, and you guys don't even know what I'm talking about.
You should really upload that as a short. Just cut that part out and put it as a short. Hey, it's for your promotion.
I don't.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I don't care. It's your recording. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, sure. Once I figure out how to edit shorts. Okay.
Yes.
So to make an extremely long and probably common knowledge story short, Rooster Teeth went down. There's a lot of potential reasons as to why, but none of them really matter. Well, I mean, they do because, you know, hearts and prayers go out to everybody who was involved, and probably some people out there who still don't have work after how long has it been, like 6 months.
Yeah.
7 months.
Well, no, because okay, hold on. Probably more like 4 months, because Rooster Teeth didn't actually shut down until like May.
True, but it was announced it was going to shut down in March.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But point standing.
Yeah. The point is, a whole ass company that we were attached to went down, and that shit sucks. Not even just for like, you know, because a lot of our shows went in limbo for a while. But even ignoring that shit just sucks.
Yes,
Indeed, there but we must remember it gave birth to a ton of talented people and communities and shows. So that must never be forgotten.
True.
So
others will carry on Rooster Teeth's legacy, including some of their old shows.
indeed.
Because I mean, Ruby went off to go get bought by Viz Media of all people. There. Will the podcast for that come back? I don't know.
Although speaking of the podcast, Barbara's podcast was saved.
True. True.
Yes, and Red versus Blue got to release its final movie.
True.
On digital.
True.
And Genlock has absolutely nothing of value, so we're moving on. And
Genlock is part of the reason we're freaking here.
Yes, and finally, the most important thing, Ben and company got to have Death Battle be given back to them, so they are now the sole proprietors of it, and it is all thanks, shockingly, to the efforts of Warner Brothers, who actually were very helpful and made the transitional process for them very easy. So now there is no strings attached. Ben and his friends now own Death Battle 100%, and it is now back.
Look at Warner Brothers.
The first time they actually own the show they made, which is crazy.
Look at Warner Brothers being like helpful towards an animated show. Because that doesn't happen.
It's Warner Brothers being helpful to an animated creator. That doesn't happen so much these days, if at all.
Yeah, goodness.
Freaking hell.
Yeah. Gotta love big corporations, don't you?
Yeah.
Hey, but
also to be true, this is exactly why Warner Brothers will never hire me. So they know my reputation. So I'm here with the bros forever.
True.
I just want to give a massive you to Warner Brothers, and let's move on.
Indeed. So that means Death Battle is now fully independent.
Yeah.
So, So
as the kids these days say, we are so back.
Indeed, and it feels good. It feels pretty damn good, I gotta say. So, So if you somehow didn't know, running any versus show isn't cheap, let alone one of the biggest ones. Period.
Arguably the biggest.
Yeah, I was about to say arguably the biggest.
Yeah. So you may be wondering, so are they just gonna like spend money, like use their own money? Well, yes, but actually no. Because I think Richard said it earlier, so I don't know why I'm building it up. They launched a Kickstarter to fund the show, and surprise, surprise, we're passionate fans. It got funded in 21 minutes.
Yes, a second Kickstarter record.
Yeah, literally, what was it, like the second fastest Kickstarter fund in like ever?
Yes, that's correct.
What was the first?
I don't remember, but I think it lost. But I think it lost by like a minute. I think.
It was a video game that was funded in, I believe, 19 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and also too, if it helps, because I will just, without saying it fully, all I will say is, BrobusCast did indeed help contribute to the Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we did.
Won't say who, but just know that we, as a unit,
won't say how much.
Did help. No, that too. We won't, but we did contribute because, God damn it, we love this show, and the opportunity to help them get a get themselves off the ground and not only get 4 episodes funded, but also get additional matchups funded down the line while being rewarded with amazing goodies. How could we pass that?
Exactly.
Wait, Richard, you're saying we love this show? Is that why we're doing a podcast on this?
I don't know. I just assumed that we were paid to talk about this.
I know, right? I kind of imagined, we would get acknowledged by like Ben or Chad, and they would just pay us to keep going. But I guess not.
I guess
no.
But we're this deep now. We're on like episode 88 at this point.
Something like that.
Much, yeah.
Like,
exactly.
Yeah, but,
at this point, we're too deep into it, so let's keep going.
Yes, and
exactly.
speaking of that, of paying, I would like to acknowledge we have a new office.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, courtesy of nicesegue.com. They were gracious enough to give us additional funds to upgrade the office. So now we have comfy brown leather chairs. We have our weapons over there, of course, as was mandatory in the contract when I signed, and also may have put down Bro and ZDogg signatures.
Without our permission, but we're balling.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, our leather chairs are black, you colorblind son of a bitch.
Well, to be... Wait, what? I asked for brown!
Oh my god.
Anyways.
Anyways. No. But as is mandatory, we were also required to put up this great sign from nicesegue.com. So, yes, we're back. We got a new office. We got new digs, and we're here to talk about Death Battle again.
And we have a shit ton to talk about.
Oh yeah,
we do because yes. Sorry. Okay. So remember when I said that talked about that Kickstarter? So obviously with the Kickstarter came a bunch of stretch goals that we can reach. We reached like what? 20 how many? We reached a lot of them. I don't know exactly how many. We reached a lot of them.
We reached over 20.
Yeah. I was gonna say around 20, but I wasn't sure.
I think I think the official number is like 21, but I could be wrong.
I was gonna say 22. Damn it! Oh well, I should have stuck with my gun. No, whatever. But anyway, so a lot of those stretch goals involved, of course, episodes and matchups for episodes. We know a lot about the future of this show and what's coming up. But amongst the initial batch, aka the bog standard one, came the matchup we will be coming back with. Alongside 3 others. One we know about and 2 we don't.
And to note, this is why we waited. We could have done this during the Kickstarter, and to be honest, part of me feels like we probably should have. I mean, we kind of did because we were on the Raptors podcast, but
shout out to him.
Subscribe to him already. Check that out.
But I mean, we could have done something for this episode, for this podcast, and we probably should have. Now that I think about it, but too late to go back. But we specifically wanted to, once the Kickstarter was over, we specifically wanted to wait until we knew what we were coming back with, and now we do. Because to date this, the preview for one of the characters came out yesterday.
Yes, and it was one of the matchups that was actually shown to us in the Kickstarter announcement video, and it is going to be our first 3D fight of this new batch of episodes, and it will also be part of the new style of the show. Before we start, that's right, style, because as of going into this year, next year, we are no longer going to be doing seasons anymore. We're going to go back to the old school Screw Attack days, where Death Battle will be released once a month for approximately 12 months, consisting of, you guessed it, 12 episodes.
And we have 20 of them.
And we have 20 of them. Yeah.
12 episodes and beyond.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So from 2024 to 2026, we're going to be eating good with Death Battle content.
Indeed.
All right. Which includes the comeback episode.
Yes, this will be the premiere.
Yes, the premiere of this new batch. Shall I be the one to say it, or
go ahead?
Somebody say it.
All right.
Somebody please say it at this point. We've been going on for way too long.
Yeah, we're getting back in the groove. It's fine. But the of the Death Battle Kickstarter era is surprisingly Omni-Man versus Bardock. Invincible versus Dragon Ball.
Okay. So raise your hand. Raise your hand if you were surprised to see Omni-Man back this soon, and if you're not raising your hand, I really have some questions.
Yeah, like I honestly think, like, obviously aside from like Leonardo, I think he's one of the fastest characters to return to the show.
I'm pretty sure Leonardo still holds the record because
he does.
No, you're right. Leo's episode was literally back to back, so I'd be surprised.
Yeah, no, but yes, Omni-Man's episode was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Damn, he's like so long ago.
How much time flies, I guess.
I mean, like, to be completely honest, I expected him to come back at some point because his original episode didn't cover a lot. Which is really why they're doing this, let's be real. But I kind of would have at least expected, I don't know, like, a different character to kind of, like, be, like, sandwiched in there, you know what I mean? Like, get, like...
Would be underselling it?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, get, like, Eve or Battle Beast in there.
Or Mark himself.
Kind of like...
Please, Eve.
Kind of like sandwich them between the two Omni-Man episodes, perhaps? But no, we're just getting Omni-Man again. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
But I mean, like Richard said, with how popular his premiere episode was, I mean, his first episode was, I mean, it makes sense.
It does, and considering Omni-Man is still getting traction to this day, shows that, the community wants more of him.
Yep, and not to mention this matchup itself, because I feel like there was a very big war in the community between this match and Omni-Man versus Homelander.
Yeah.
So
the war's still going on, my friend.
I don't doubt that, but I mean, truth be told, while I do prefer this matchup over Omni-Man versus Homelander, I do think Omni-Man versus Homelander had its merits, which we talked about before, yada yada.
Yeah,
but
we did.
I do feel like it is nice that he is coming, like, this fight is happening. It's the best of both worlds, I feel.
I feel like, sorry, I feel like Omni-Man versus Homelander was kind of like, I mean, it was a super highly requested matchup, and it makes sense as to why. But I feel like safe. Yeah, it was safe. It was like a good, like, ease your way into getting Invincible on this show. Mostly just covering the first season because that's really all that was out at the time. I mean, we had comics, but they didn't cover the comics much at all.
Well, because they really didn't need to.
Oh no, 100%.
No, Homelander wasn't worth it.
No,
exactly.
But I think that's probably, that could be why we're getting his episodes back to back and maybe this soon. Because Nolan's last episode mostly just covered the show because that's what everybody knew him for at the time. It was kind of a way to like ease the show into Death Battle. Now we're kind of easing the comics into Death Battle, especially now that we have a second season.
Exactly.
Yes, and season 3 will be coming out next year.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
it's time for that.
Yeah.
And also, not to mention, like we said, this was one of the 2 matchups that was revealed for the Kickstarter. And I feel like both episodes were really good choices to get the excitement going.
We'll talk about that second one.
Yeah.
Yes, we will. But it's obviously, without saying it, like freaking all 4 franchises involved are very good attention seekers, as like even besides the matchups. So I think doing both of these were an excellent choice to get people excited for what's to come. So
yeah.
No. Yeah. So, and also too, like, let's not also undersell it. This is, of course, another Dragon Ball combatant. However, this is a different Dragon Ball combatant. This is not a main character. This isn't a Z fighter. It's not anyone close to the core cast of Dragon Ball. Instead, it's a movie special character that has ever since then become largely semi-part of the canonicity of Dragon Ball, and that's Bardock.
Yeah.
Bardock is a unique Dragon Ball fighter because he's not on the same power output as his son, but he's not exactly on the same level of weakness as somebody like, say, Yamcha, for example. He's
right.
Actually be getting a round.
There you go. Yeah, no shockwaves here.
No,
probably.
No shockwaves. No, hey, it's a Dragon Ball character who's kind of powerful, but not ridiculously powerful.
And that's not to mention, well, I don't know if I should say this outright. Not to mention, we're going to be getting a brand new form that has not been in any of the Dragon Ball episodes.
You are correct.
That's
yes. Yes, you're correct. So this is a unique specimen, to say the least.
Yeah, that's
just as a heads up, my internet's kind of taking a shit right now, so it might be a little wonky on camera, but
okay. If you need us to repeat any line, if you need us to repeat anything we said,
I don't know what's going on.
But yeah,
whatever. And Bardock's gonna be a little weird to cover when it comes to media, because a lot of Bardock's shit is not canon, but we'll get to that later.
Yes. So I guess let's just run. We're gonna go through the basic stuff, but we're gonna actually simplify it because Brobuscus has come up with a new system of mechanics for how we're going to conduct ourselves in future episodes.
Indeed, yes. But again, put a pin in that.
Yes.
I mean, okay, so as far as like the characters themselves go, let's backtrack even further. Are we hyped for this match or what?
Absolutely, yes.
Very much so. Like I said,
did we all not see the same teaser of working animation that Artemis posted?
True. That is looking really good so far. So, but just in general, I've always been a fan of this match. Like I said, I do prefer it over Omni-Man versus Homelander. I do get the appeal of Nolan versus. I was about to say Nolan versus John, which isn't incorrect, but you know
that is what it is.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I like getting to cover like a more unique, like Richard said, a more unique piece of Dragon Ball history. Plus, it could just be cool. So, yeah.
I'm the same way. I mean, okay, I've liked this fight ever since they did a community death battle on it. And this fight actually is, as Bro said, this feels like we're introducing the comics of Invincible instead of the show.
Mhm.
And now you bring Bardock in. Bardock is a character that has very little death battle presence. So the idea of putting him up.
Sorry, keep going. I keep going. I just had a bit. I just had a bit of a realization moment, but keep going.
Oh, okay. Okay. So the fact that these two, but when you put these two together, they are essentially more or less the same character. In terms of they represent what their race really is, and they're ultimately succeeded and redeemed by their offsprings who managed to make their species more better than it originally was. And you also have the father angle in there too, because both of them are fathers to arguably the greatest warriors in their respective universes. And there's also the redemption factor that both of these two seek to redeem themselves in some way or manner. That being said, yeah this is a...
on that note, I probably should have said something before letting you continue, but you didn't really say too much. But major spoiler warning, by the way, for the Invincible comics. Because not only are we going to be talking a lot about it, but the episode's going to be talking a lot about it. And if you don't want to get, because the show is probably going to follow the comics, I mean, relatively faithfully, about as faithfully as they've been covering them so far. And that we've still got quite a bit of ground to cover from the comics.
Yes, we do.
So if you don't want to get spoiled on anything, I don't know.
Now, damn it.
Click off now or fast forward to the future, because we will have other topics today.
Yep.
Yeah. So in any event, both of them are also famous for, spoiler alert, dying. But their deaths brought out the best in their sons. So yeah. I'm excited for this matchup. I really am. As I said, it's a type of Dragon Ball fight we haven't had. Now, yes, I can hear some of you saying another Dragon Ball fight, but it's like, come on, you know they have to do these. But it's the amount of no Dragon Ball fights are ever the same, and this one is proof of that. So I'm very excited to have this episode happen, and it's a great opportunity to cover more grounds on Bardock and Omni-Man.
Indeed. I mean, can you blame them for wanting to use so much Dragon Ball? It gets the views.
It kind of gets the views, yeah.
It gets the mad views.
I mean, also that I probably would have agreed with that complaint. Well, I wouldn't have agreed with it, but I would have understood that complaint more had things not turned out the way they did this year. But we just got back from almost dying. Can we
agree?
Can we not with, it's another one of this again? Okay, yes, had things worked out the way they were supposed to, this match probably would have been the first episode of what was going to be season 11, which means it would have been 2 episodes after Goku vs. Superman. However, that argument now that we've had a near year-long hiatus is kind of null and void, if you ask me. So get your so you can take your shitty arguments and shove off.
It's the death battle community. You got to get back into complaining somehow. Get back into people complaining somehow.
I really hate that you have a point.
Yeah, I mean, But even then, like we said, like Frieza, Megatron, and Goku, Superman, like we said with Bardock, like that's not going to go into any of the things that they brought up in that episode. Okay, well maybe I don't know, like not as many as like the insane, some of the more insane stuff like in that episode. So I think it's fine regardless.
Yes.
Yeah.
So whatever.
But okay, as for the characters themselves, I mean, we kind of covered Omni-Man semi-recently, so,
yeah.
But I mean, to make an extremely long story short, I think it's safe to say we all like him.
Yeah, he's cool. Yeah, he's very enjoyable, but an enjoyable character. Very terrifying when he needs to be. He's voiced by J.K. Simmons. How could you hate that?
Exactly. See, he gets it.
Yeah. Plus season two is really growing his character more. So that's cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to be fair, we did have a whole last season come out since Omni-Man's last episode, but and then one of us in particular actually took the time to read basically the entire comic run, but we'll get to that later.
I wonder who that is.
But yeah, Omni-Man's cool. I'm not like 1000% sure if I'd say he's my favorite character, but then again, I don't really know who it is. Who is? Right. But he gets the stamp of approval from me. I like him.
Yeah, same here.
And yeah, he's voiced by J.K. Simmons, so he automatically gets a win.
Yeah. And then there's Bardock.
Yeah. So, admittedly, I will fix this because I know there's going to be several people who wants to show me the special. Most of my experience with Bardock is outside appearances because I have not seen any of the specials. I mostly just know about him because of people talking to him about him, and he's cool. I think he's a cool character. Like,
he seems neat.
It is interesting to have know who Goku's father is, and what I know, like he does seem like a pretty cool character, and his sacrifice. I mean, okay, we said spoilers, and Richard said they both die. You know, his sacrifice does seem very noble, and
I mean,
what he does.
Bardock dying isn't exactly like a super big spoiler.
It's true. I guess, yeah, that's fair.
We've kind of long established at this point, especially nowadays, that basically Goku and Vegeta are like the only Saiyans left.
Right, that's fair.
But yeah, I mean, to be completely honest, for Bardock, I mean, he seems like a neat character, but the only thing I've really seen him in is in the Super Broly movie. And in that movie, he does something fatherly related, I believe, and then fly up into Vegeta's atmosphere and then die. So, I mean, he seems cool, but the only thing I remember seeing him do is die. So,
yeah.
Not exactly the best look, but hey, it's something, right?
Yeah. Richard?
Yes. So.
You want to get? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I've known about Bardock ever since I started watching Dragon Ball in the early 2000s. I did see the Bardock special, and I thought he was a cool, badass character. Then he, of course, he died, but his original special gave more grounds to him. If you ignore the Funimation early 2000s translations about him being a brilliant scientist.
Someone had to bring it up.
And yes, and then after that, I do remember playing a mission in, I believe it was either Dragon Ball Z Raging Blast 1 or Raging Blast 2, where they had what-if scenarios that you could play as. One of them included Bardock being sent to the future. This is a recurring pattern, where he gets to fight both his grandsons, Gohan and Goten, and Gohan is able to figure out that he is related to Goku, but Goten is not. So it's a nice, cute moment where Bardock even says that was a great time being able to spend this sparring with my grandsons. So it was cute. It was nice. And then getting to see him again in Dragon Ball Super Broly, which was adapted from Akira Toriyama's manga Dragon Ball Z Minus, where he basically retold the events of Bardock's story, but gave it his own spin. Because, spoiler alert, Bardock was not created by Akira Toriyama. He was exclusively a Toei creation. So when Akira Toriyama created Dragon Ball Minus, he updated it. And then, yeah, it was good to see him on the big screen. It was nice that they actually gave him more personality instead of him just being this 90s kind of punk who pretends he doesn't give a shit about people, but in reality he does. And yeah, I think he's neat.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So both of them are cool characters, but
yeah, neat. Well, we already had Omni-Man on.
Yeah.
It is neat to see a more out there Dragon Ball character get the spotlight. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
In comparison, at least in comparison to the ones we've had on.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially since this won't be diving into like, I mean, like with all the other Dragon Ball episodes, especially the more recent ones, like they've all used characters that like bleed into like Dragon Ball Super, and it gets like, you kind of get an idea of what's gonna happen just off that alone.
Yeah.
But fortunately, Bardock is a semi recent character, or not recent, earlier character. He does have appearances in Dragon Ball Super. We will get to that later. But he's mostly from like the Z era. So we're gonna be focusing a lot on that, at least potentially. Again, we'll get to that later.
I'll explain.
We'll get to that later. This episode's a little weird, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But okay, production. Well, I mean, we literally saw what this fight kind of looks like.
Yep.
And it looks incredible.
Indeed, it does.
Indeed.
It looks very incredible.
Now
it's Devil Artemis.
Yeah, it is Devil Artemis.
There it is. Yep, it's got to be a 3D fight animated by Devil Artemis. Yes.
Now, admittedly, what we saw was a work in progress. So there's probably going to be some stuff that will get like changed around a little bit. We do know that one of them is that if you notice in the preview, Bardock doesn't have his bandana on. That's not a conscious decision. That's just animation right now. He'll have it in the final product.
Yes, although I should note his bandana he only got his bandana until after what happened to him, which I'll explain later. So it's never been a permanent fixture of his character until the end of his special.
No, but it looks freaking cool, so they have to include it.
It does, yes.
So yeah, both Ben and Devil Artemis have said that Bardock will have his bandana on throughout the fight. He just doesn't have it in that work in progress thing because the animation is not exactly done yet. No, is it?
Yes, it is now.
There you go.
Yes.
But something interesting.
We also have
Just off the preview we've seen, if you've watched Invincible Season 2 and if you've read the comics, you'll notice that the set piece of this fight is a little strange. Okay, maybe I should rephrase that. You'll probably notice that it's strange if you haven't seen Invincible Season 2 or read the comics.
Yes.
So you're probably wondering, what the hell are they doing? Well, I'll tell you what they're doing. They're fighting on the planet Thraxa. Basically, to make an extremely long story short, I'll get into this later. After Omni-Man, brutally mutilated his own son because he's just kind of a dick.
It was tough love.
Yeah, sure, we'll go with that.
Sure.
He flew off the Earth and landed on another planet called Thraxa. It's got a pink sky. It's got 2 planets or moons orbiting it. I don't remember, nor do I care. And its inhabitants are entirely filled with bug people.
Don't question it if you haven't seen it.
Don't question it.
Just go with it.
Just accept.
Go with it.
Just accept this franchise is freaking weird. And somehow that isn't even... And believe me when I say that a planet filled with bug people who, by the way, age in days instead of years. And somehow that isn't even the weirdest thing from this franchise that I probably won't bring up today. Like I said, this series is weird.
Indeed.
But anyways, this preview looks freaking dope. I'm excited.
Yeah, it does. It looks really good. Devil cooked. Devil's cooking. Yeah.
The only thing I think is a little is the Omni-Man model. I
was gonna say because they confirmed. Well, I don't know if I should say this. They confirmed that it's not the one from MK1, Mortal Kombat 1, right?
Yes.
I believe that's Devil's model.
Yes,
okay.
Devil used this model in Cell vs. Omni-Man because it was the only 3D Omni-Man model at the time.
Right. Yeah, because that was years before MK1.
Yeah, and M1K didn't come out until the beginning of 2024. So I'm assuming by the time, let's just make the assumption that this model was not readily available for Devil to use at the time. So he just used this model.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah.
It works. It works. It looks good. It's probably gonna take a little getting used to.
Yeah, it's just a touch wonky. It's no big deal. But it's just especially weird compared to the Bardock model, which looks freaking dope.
Yeah, Bardock does look freaking cool.
Yeah.
Yes, it does look good.
Yeah. No, you go.
I was just gonna say, I love how there's a great, again, aside from the story that Bro mentioned, I also love how we are going to see the Great Ape form in this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, right. Like I said, the first time it's gonna be in a Dragon Ball Death Battle episode.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Which took me an embarrassingly long time to realize, but yeah. I'm just sitting here thinking to be fair, I think it was the same day that the video went out. But I remember working that day and I was just randomly in my mind, I'm like, oh shit, this is the first time we're gonna see Great Ape in Death Battle, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Although, and don't worry for those who are a fan. Again, I don't know how I should be saying this, but I believe they did confirm that Super Saiyan will also be appearing.
I don't believe they said anything about that specifically, but they did say, we'll get to it later. But media that the Super Saiyan 4 appeared in will be included.
Okay, fair. I mean,
Yes.
I imagine it'll
imagine.
eventually get used in.
Yeah,
in
I
the
imagine that
animation
means.
as well, at
Yeah, I
some
imagine
point.
that means Super Saiyan is fine.
Yeah. So.
But okay. And then yeah, I mean, I can imagine this being like, that's probably what they're building up, is that the story of this fight is going to be, because since it's on Thraxa, I can imagine the story being like, well, Bardock's here to conquer the planet for the Saiyans, because that's what they do.
That or he's seeking. Yeah, that or you could say he's seeking shelter there. Either way, one story works.
Yeah. And Omni-Man's like, another planet hopping conqueror. Yeah, we ain't dealing with that today.
Right.
Yeah.
Doesn't want any of that.
Nope. He's had enough of that. He's had enough of that as is. By the way, I love in the teaser they had like the clash of like the MK1 clash. I really hope they take that like fully. Like let's get like a full MK1 style clash. That'd be sick.
Interaction. There you
go.
Like somebody on the team must have been like, okay, we've done the whole Dragon Ball Fighters clash twice. Why don't we just use the M1K clash, which in my opinion is much cooler. If I'm just being honest.
Yeah, and it works and in this case it works as a double reference, so it's cool.
There you go.
Yeah, no, there you go. And hey, it's nice to get that. I also want to say that even though this is a work in progress fight, you can tell that because again, this kind of goes without saying, but Devil cooks when it comes to the fast-paced Dragon Ball sections of his content, because he really goes all out, and I can tell that he must have had so many inspirations on how he wanted to conduct this fight in terms of how they're moving, because both of these two can fly extremely fast. They both have different ways of attacking, and then you throw in the Great Ape form, and that's just a whole new element to it as well. So it really looks like it's probably going to be it's definitely going to be similar to Frieza Megatron in terms of it's going to start off small scale, but it probably will build up to something big.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love everything about how this animation just presents itself. I mean, it legit just looks great.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want us to say? It's like like trying to say, it's like trying to find something positive or new to say about the Blender team's animation skills, or Torian for that matter.
Exactly.
That's not the point at all.
No,
what do you mean?
But yeah, so voice acting, we should talk about that, because
we should.
Oh yeah.
We don't. Okay. Well.
At this moment, we don't know, but I mean,
we have a solid idea.
Okay, all right.
Unless there's some secret bad blood, like why would they not get Tom Shock to come back?
Yeah.
like why the hell not?
Literally 2 years ago. Again, reminder.
Yeah.
Like reminder of how quick it's been since Omni-Man versus Homelander. Like,
not to mention he hasn't stopped doing roles in between.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
He was in season 10. So yeah, he's definitely still on retain. He is definitely going to come back to reprise his role as Omni-Man. And in that case, man, I am so looking forward to the banter interactions he's going to have with Bardock.
Yeah, he's going to have a lot more material this time around compared to his fight with Homelander.
Exactly. Where that one, he was a man of few words. Here, he's definitely going to be talking a bit more.
Yeah. And on top of Bardock, I mean,
we don't know, but I mean,
I have ideas. I have two ideas.
Okay, so
Martin wants to say they would get Taka back for
That's
like
one of them.
So
yeah,
here's
I don't know, because I know they've been back and forth on whether or not to get Team 4-star voice actors back to reprise the role.
But here's the thing, though. Ben said on Cast when they announced that this was the premiere. Like one of the things he was saying to hype up this episode was familiar actors.
Mm.
Here's what I'm thinking. I have a theory, which so if it's not, obviously the first option is Takahaka 101, which for those of you who have not seen Dragon Ball Z Abridged, first off, what the hell is wrong with you, Sean? Second off, he did voice Bardock twice in both the Bardock Father of Goku special and another special. So he is kind of semi-synonymous with Bardock. But then there's the other option, and I actually mentioned this idea to your only mate and Kira, and they got a huge kick out of it. What if the person they get to play Bardock is Michael Kovac?
Oh.
Because Michael obviously has played Goku adjacent characters. He voiced Goku Black, he voiced Gogeta and Vegito, part of them, and last year he came back to voice Goku. So it would stand to reason that if he's voiced Goku or Goku characters that many times, why would you not have him come back for Bardock?
Well, my problem with that is that Bardock, yes, he's a Saiyan and he's Goku's father, but he's not Goku. Like the thing with the thing with Michael Kovac's other roles is that in some way or another they are Goku.
Yes,
and one of them just straight up is Goku. Like there's no like ifs or buts about it. It's Goku. And the other options were we got Gogeta and Vegito. Goku's a part of that, so
it counts.
Duh.
Yeah. Goku
and then
Black is Goku.
Yeah. Goku Black is basically just Goku possessed by a super evil, super hypocritical Supreme Kai. So, yeah. Meanwhile, Bardock is just not Goku at all. I mean, he's Goku's father, yes, but he ain't Goku.
No, I mean, okay, so going back to Takahaka 101, then Taka actually does, because, so fun fact, in the original, in both the Father of Goku special and the first opening minutes of Dragon Ball Super Broly, Bardock is voiced by Sonny Strait, who is the voice of Krillin in Dragon Ball Z up to Super, and of course, GT. So, Takahaka 101 can actually do, and the whole idea behind Bardock's voice is, it is essentially a gruff, rough, smoky, kind of arrogant voice that is essentially trying to be better by the end of his story. And Takahaka 101 does come close to that. If you go back and you watch the two specials he's appeared in, he definitely has that style of voice down. Now, why I suggested Michael Kovac is I think he could do it because, again, you have to remember...
Make no mistake, I don't doubt he could do it.
Yeah, no, but I can see the hesitation. Because, his Goku Black voice and his Goku voice are two different. They are not the same.
True.
So he can put on a voice for a Goku-adjacent character. Granted, yes, Bardock is not Goku, but that's neither here nor there. He looks like Goku, therefore, it's like, it would make sense for them to go to Michael, because it's like, we got to keep the trend running of Michael literally voicing anybody that is or isn't Goku. I would like it if it was Takahaka 101, because I think, well, first of all, the idea of Tom Shulk and Taka 111 reuniting.
I was about to say.
Would be freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Tom versus Curtis, round 2.
Yeah, like, so I hope it's Taka. I would like it to be Taka because again, him and Tom just had so much chemistry when they got to record the first time around, and well, technically the second time. Technically, this would be the third time because Taka was in the following episode that Tom wasn't a part of. It may have been a cameo, but he was there. Just not fighting.
I guess.
So yeah, those are my 2 picks on who they could get for Bardock.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if freaking Michael Kovac can pull it off, I like I said, I agree with Bro. I'm open to it. I'd be interested to see it, but either way, you know, I'm sure I'm completely fine with either option here, honestly, because
yeah.
Both are just talented voice actors. What can we say?
Yeah. No,
I mean, at this point, I trust Death Battle with whatever when it comes to voice actors. They generally tend to do pretty good.
Exactly. But yeah. Watch, Ben's gonna reveal the voice actor sometime this week.
We do have Death Battle Cast coming up. Maybe there's something.
True. Maybe. And finally, music.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm predicting Brandon.
I was also going to predict Brandon. Yes, I think it's a safe assumption to say Brandon's coming back. Which, man, having to top Brandon's first Invincible track is going to be a doozy.
Yeah.
I think he can pull it off.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you can just take.
now we have Dragon Ball in the mix, and Dragon Ball, like, say what you will about the episodes, but the Dragon Ball, like, soundtracks have been freaking buck wild.
We have never had a bad Dragon Ball track.
Yeah.
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 So, I think we'll be okay. And I think I'm also predicting another, like, pretty high octane vocal track. That just seems to be what we get with Dragon Ball nowadays. It makes it sound like I'm complaining, but I'm not.
Why would you be?
We need more, damn it.
Yeah, imagine that as the comeback. We already have Omni-Man. Like, he's a big name right now. And while Bardock himself might not be that big of a name, Dragon Ball is.
Dragon Ball.
Got Devil Artemis, who's already like a big name as is, and then like Brandon with the freaking like super track again. Like, come on, we're so back.
And again, this episode is going to be a great precursor to what I am calling Dragon Ball Day on October 11th. So. Yes, with the release of Budokai Tenkaichi 4 and Daima. So, yes. This is definitely...
Daima.
So, this is... also, too, I really wish I would have thought of this earlier, but rest in peace to the great legendary Akira Toriyama.
We never really did get an opportunity to bring that up, did we?
No. So, I'm going to bring it up now.
No, that's fine. Rest in peace, good man.
Yeah. May rest in peace, good sir.
I hope this episode is. I'm not saying I hope it's dedicated to him, but I do hope that this episode is something that can really bring some love to the Dragon Ball community right now. Because man, like, it is gonna suck not having Toriyama here to see exactly what Dragon Ball is gonna be coming to on October 11th. So yes.
Okay.
Miss you, Toriyama.
Yeah. Well, moving on before we get too sad. All right. Now it's time for the main event.
Yes.
Let's talk about who be winning this. Now, as we've been kind of alluding to, you may notice our new setup we have these 3 screens next to us. You might be wondering, what the hell are these about? Well, it kind of leads into a little experiment we're going to be doing. So, I have kind of taken the time to notice, especially last year, that when talking about who we think is going to win a fight, especially when it's just the 3 of us, there's a bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? We're not as enlightened.
Organized.
Yeah, organized is probably the best word. Like, if you go back, the one that comes to mind, go look at how we discussed freaking Galactus versus Unicron. That was a mess.
Yes, we were very sporadic and chaotic when it came to the debate section of that.
So we're gonna try something new. Now, if you have seen like BrobusCast, or hell, if you're want to go to another podcast in this community, there is Lads Discuss Death Battle. They do this sort of thing too. We're kind of doing something similar to that, but with our own little twist.
Yes, because let it be noted that BrobusCast isn't conventional.
Indeed. So how it's similar is that basically the 3 of us are going to be, or 2 of us are going to be given each of the characters. I'll get to who will be repping who in a second. Just let me get the explanations out of the way. And we're going to be talking about the specific character, who they are, how powerful they are, what their abilities are. Basically, imagine it like we're gonna be describing these characters to you, kind of as if we were giving you an impromptu death battle rundown. Now again, if you've seen Death Battle Cast or Lads Discuss, that should sound pretty similar. However, the difference with us is that we aren't trying to prove that our character wins, because chances are we're gonna get a matchup where they just don't.
A few of the teased ones are definitely like that.
Yeah.
The Kickstarter ones are definitely like that. So
yeah. So that's not what we're trying to do. So basically how this is going to work is for each character, we're going to get the person who is representing them is basically going to give their opening statement. It's basically, again, just going to be an impromptu death battle rundown. If you want, like, obviously, if you want to get into like the nitty gritty stats, you can. But basically, we're just trying to give you an idea of how strong these characters are and just who they are, really. Because, man, imagine if we were talking about this as if we didn't know who Omni-Man and Bardock are. We'd be
Exactly.
all over the place. So no, we're not doing that anymore. And once we're done with the opening statements, then we're going to get into the debate that you are mostly used to when it comes to this podcast. The difference is, now we'll be a little bit more informed.
yeah, we'll actually know a thing or two, hopefully.
Yeah.
Thanks to a brief history lesson, we'll say, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And if you don't get quite what I'm saying just yet, just watch. We'll
catch on. I'm
yeah,
sure,
you'll catch on. We'll catch on because this is our first time doing it. I offered to get like a test run out there, but we never did it. I don't think we really ever had the time to do it. But whatever, that's neither here nor there.
We'll be fine. We're professionals around here. Clearly, we got it.
Clearly, we got this. We got this. So for this matchup in particular, so I will be representing Omni-Man. You can put an Omni-Man thing on the screen right next to me. There you go. And then Richard will be representing Bardock.
There he is.
So basically how this is going to work, so I will be talking about like who Omni-Man is, how strong he is, what his abilities are, blah, 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 blah. And then once I'm done, by the way, opening statements are at the moment anyway, mostly uninterrupted. If you want to get like a quick little jab in there, I mean, again, this is our first time doing it, so do whatever. But the idea is that our opening statements are supposed to be uninterrupted. And then once we're done, then we'll get into like we're not going to be comparing them at all, at least not right now. Like our opening statements aren't going to be comparing. Like I'm not going to bring up Bardock at all when talking about Omni-Man, and I'm hoping I haven't seen anything from Richard, but I'm assuming he's going to be doing the same thing.
Yes, I will be exclusively. I will not interrupt Brobuscus when he's talking about Omni-Man, nor will I bring up anything that is comparable with Bardock. I will be exclusively talking about everything there is about Bardock and Bardock only.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'll just be here just as a mediator, I guess.
Yeah. You'll have your moment when we're actually comparing the two.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's another thing. Again, we are not trying to prove that our character wins. We're just like
we're going over them.
Yeah, we're going over them. Now, how this particular fight is going to work, because there are some ground rules I want to cover. I hope the plan is to do this. So the plan is for all the future episodes. Basically, we're gonna be like, all right, we're getting into the debate. This person will be representing this character. This person will be representing this character. Ground rules. So for this fight, ground rules. So Omni-Man is going to be getting. So we did get word from this, but a lot of it is kind of just guesswork. But we do have some official statements. So for Omni-Man, this is really just a mix of the comics and the show.
Yes.
There is a bunch of crossover media that Invincible has taken part in that's not being included.
Yeah. So no Spawn, no Spider-Man, and no Mortal Kombat.
Indeed.
I know that's not included, but yeah.
Yes, and I'll get to my stuff for Bardock when it is my turn. So because this is primarily going to be bro section.
Yeah. Well, I'll cover the basic ground rules for Bardock. On that note, so Bardock in this fight is like we've been alluding to this whole time. You now get to understand. So at least hopefully understand, because again, this is weird. So
we're easing back into things and introducing it.
Bardock,
bro.
So Bardock, the term I've seen thrown around in the community is soft composite. And to make an extremely long story short, basically that means Bardock is getting just about everything that is in Dragon Ball Heroes.
Yeah, so no Xenoverse, none of that shit.
No, I will be primarily covering as follows. I will be covering the Bardock, the Father of Goku special. I will be covering Z. I will be covering his appearance in Super Broly / Dragon Ball Minus. And also, of course, the other special which he appears in. That is it. I will not be using any of the what if material, such as the material I brought up earlier for Raging Blast. We're just going to focus on his on-screen visual media, and then there will also be scaling to it as well. That is what we're going to be using for Bardock.
Yep. And yeah, aside from that, pretty much anything goes. So for so to start this off, the official title is Omni-Man versus Bardock. So I'm going first. So I do have my opening statement in front of me. Let's do it. Oh, by the way, this isn't timed, so screw you, lads. Actually, wait. Cast did it first.
Shit.
Screw you, Cast 2. Anyway.
Yes, anyway.
Alright.
Regale us, bro.
Alright, let's talk about good old Nolan Grayson. All right, Nolan Grayson, an alien traveler from the planet Viltrum, arrived on Earth to make a better world alongside the planet's superhero team, the Guardians of the Globe. I'm not cutting out any sort of mistakes I make during this, by the way. I am reading off of something, but this isn't
we're human. We're human. Damn it! Remember that.
Exactly. Thank you. The Guardians of the Globe is a superhero, Omni-Man. Married with a son named Mark, Omni-Man fought the forces of evil for years. Life was good. Which is what I would say if everything I just said wasn't a total lie. Viltrum wasn't a peaceful planet at all. Instead, Omni-Man was here to prepare the planet for a Viltrumite invasion. The alien race conquering planet after planet in the galaxy. But after Mark, now the superhero Invincible, found out, the two clashed, with Nolan beating the ever-loving shit out of his son. Making emotional jabs at not only Mark, but his wife, Debbie. But these jabs were skin deep, as Mark managed to get through to his father. Nolan tried to turn Mark into a Viltrumite, but Mark ended up making his father human. Man, doesn't that one sound familiar? It sounds familiar because it's freaking true. With no other choice, Nolan fled Earth and found himself on the planet Thraxa, married a bug lady, and had another kid, all before being reunited with Mark just before another Viltrumite invasion. Despite his skill, and believe me, he's got a lot of it, Nolan was arrested and set for execution. Fortunately, he's powerful enough to escape and lend his aid to the coalition of planets to take on the Viltrumite Empire once and for all. I don't know if I mentioned this in this statement, but going on to skill, Omni-Man's been alive and planet conquering for thousands of years. He also survived. At least I think he did. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't born at that point. But the point is, an important part of Viltrumite lore is that they straight up murdered each other to make sure they basically culled the weak. If you couldn't tell, Viltrumites are kind of messed up. Anyways, due to their DNA, Viltrumites are composed of smart atoms, which let them accomplish superhuman feats. Super strength, super speed, super durability, high-speed flight, withstanding absolute zero, and having insane healing factors. Other Viltrumites have survived being punched through the stomach, having their skin burnt off, being beaten to a pulp, and even being ripped in half. There's a line from Boomstick and Omni-Man's original episode that Viltrumites in this series get messed up, and it is true. Holy shit. However, their healing does still take a bit of time, and too much trauma to the brain or heart can overtax them. So basically, if you damage the heart long enough, good enough, they die. This will become important later. For their healing, again, I don't mention this. I kind of I wrote down a script-ish, but I'm mostly just I'm adding to it as I go. This is the basic shit. So for Viltrumite healings, they are really fast. They are really impressive. Again, I listed off a bunch of shit that Viltrumites have survived. However, they take a while. They may be really good, but they can take a pretty freaking long time depending on how badly they're beaten down. I think Mark took once he was when he was getting the shit beat out of him by his dad, he took weeks to regenerate fully, I think. Anyways, where was okay? On top of that, their equilibriums aren't as invulnerable as their bodies, so a loud enough noise can disrupt them, which can even prevent them from flying. Mark found that out the hard way. The hard way and the asshole-ish way. By the way, as a side note, screw you, Cecil Stedman. I know you may not see him that. I know you may not see him much in the show, but in the comics, this guy is kind of an asshole. Still, though, Nolan himself is strong enough and fast enough to make sure that even with those weaknesses, it won't be that much of a problem. He's strong enough to create country-sized explosions just by flying. Caught and threw a meteor the size of Texas, and alongside Mark and another Viltrumite named Thetis, who is voiced by Peter Cullen of all people. Okay, sure. That's not.
I was wondering how you.
That's
I was wondering how you'd react to that.
That's not distracting in any meaningful way. What do you mean? Those three together destroyed all of Viltrum, as in they flew right at it, flew through the planet, and the whole planet went kersplody. Speed-wise, he's fast enough to catch the Red Rush, who is literally fast enough to stop crime while in a conversation with his wife. It's honestly kind of funny. As in, he's talking to his girlfriend, right? And he hears that some crime is happening somewhere, and he dashes off, stops the criminal, and dashes back all before his girlfriend ever even noticed he was gone. Only problem was that he arrived back in his uniform. Whoops.
Oh, wow.
Whoopsie.
Killing them all.
Anyways, Omni-Man has escaped the pull of a black hole, and then later stopped the Thraxan ship from being sucked into the same black hole. That scene, by the way, super dark, because Omni-Man was just straight up considering having that black hole kill him. He was literally ready to get sucked into that thing, and he was like, he saw a ship about to be sucked into, and he was like, wait, pause. I'm gonna put a pause on my... I was gonna say the thing, but it might get me demonetized. And just save the ship. And he's also flown outside of the solar system. And the show said the original comic said over 2 weeks. And then later on, they were like, actually, he reached Thraxan in like a week, and Thraxan is like a couple galaxies away. Yeah, Omni-Man's pretty freaking fast. And in the end, after claiming leadership of the Viltrumite Empire due to his heritage, that's kind of a long story, his final act was to do battle with the former commander, Thrag. The battle was fierce, but Thrag ultimately prevailed, wounding Nolan so severely, not even his regeneration could save him. But his death sparked the drive his son needed to take Thrag down once and for all. Above all, Omni-Man is an extremely powerful and extremely fast conqueror turned hero that'll protect the planet and his son, no matter what.
Nice.
So there you go. That is our good friend Nolan Grayson, aka Omni-Man.
Nice.
Now, Richard, the floor is yours.
All right, so Bardock is a lower class soldier who led a team. This team's mission was to go and conquer planets on order of Lord Frieza. Each time Bardock would come back, he would be half dead and would get a considerable Zenkai boost from it. He was the strongest member of his team. He had been fighting for as long as he could remember, and he eventually met a beautiful woman named Gine, who birthed a son, and that son's name was not Goku, but it was Raditz, his firstborn son. And then sometime later, he had another son named Kakarot. This would eventually become the Saiyan we all know, Goku. And it was during one of his missions, in Timeline 1, where he noticed that Frieza was getting more and more paranoid. So after going to a planet that had a species known for using psychic abilities, he slaughtered them all with his team until only one was left. And that one granted him the psychic ability to see his own end, and flashes of the future where his youngest son, Kakarot, would grow up to be the one to defeat and battle Lord Frieza. It was upon being damaged that he was stated to have a power level almost as close to King Vegeta had he kept going. His team was sent out on an assignment. He would shortly join them, but not long before checking in on his son Kakarot and being very disappointed with his power level. This will come back later, don't worry, it'll be nice. And then he goes off to the planet, only to find out that his entire team of friends are dead. They were murdered on behalf of Frieza, so he decided to avenge his friends, killing their killers, but ultimately being defeated by one of Frieza's minions named Dodoria. And then he made his way back to Planet Vegeta, where he saw a vision of its destruction. So he tried to warn the citizens of Planet Vegeta, but nobody believed him. So, despite being half injured, he decided that he would go up into the upper atmosphere where Planet Vegeta was to battle Lord Frieza. And he was able to get through all of Frieza's army with no problem, until Lord Frieza, in his first form, delivered his signature attack, which blew up the planet, killing Bardock in the process, along with dozens of other Saiyans. They were leaving only a small group as the last of their kind, until you get into the second timeline. This is where, instead of being killed, Bardock was flown into the past, where he was on a, let's just say it was a, oh, how do I describe this? It was essentially a earlier version of Planet Vegeta, very similar to the beginning of Earth, where dinosaurs and Neanderthals were the only dominant species. So he met his Saiyan ancestors and discovered that they were being ruled by one of Frieza's ancestors named Lord Chill, who looks exactly like Frieza in his first form. So after defending their little town and eventually getting the shit beaten out of him by Lord Chill, this is where Bardock became the very first Super Saiyan of legend, and he defeated Lord Chill, and eventually he went off into the sunset. Now his fate is unknown. And then, of course, he came back in Dragon Ball Super Broly, where pretty much it was a mix-up of his first two origins. So now he still is canonically dead, but we still don't know if the special is to be believed that somewhere there is a Bardock that's out there. Now, as for what he can do, Bardock can, like any other Saiyan, fight to his maximum potential, as the Saiyans are gifted with unique abilities to fight in any extreme condition. The more they fight, the more stronger they get. And when they are close to near death, they receive what I said earlier, a Zenkai boost, which pretty much increases their power levels to over the 1,000 digits. Now, power levels can be measured using scouters, and by the end of Bardock's story, his power level was almost reaching 10,000, which at that point made him one of the strongest lower-class warriors of his era. And it makes sense because he was on the battlefield. And of course, like any person in Dragon Ball, he can manipulate his ki. The ki manipulation allows him to shoot energy blast, fly, and do all sorts of other impossible things. However, Bardock mostly just uses it for rudimentary purposes, such as flying and blasting foes with his beam attacks. His signature attack, of course, being the one that he tried to use to stop Frieza's attack. His attack being called the Final Spirit Cannon, which acts as a sort of javelin projectile. Bardock also can and has the ability to scale to other lesser-known Saiyans should you want to get into how strong he can be. So the best example, of course, is late Saiyan Saga, early Frieza Saga Goku. Now, you gotta remember, at that time, Saiyans, as I said, have the ability to fight anywhere, but Goku pushed it to its limits by training in 100 times Earth's normal gravity, which gave him more unique abilities than any other Saiyan up until that point, which of course means enhanced speed, enhanced strength, enhanced agility, and of course the ability to read minds. And Bardock can do the same thing if he pushes himself to those limits. Bardock is, of course, known for being the ultimate example of how a Saiyan can change. Goku would later take up this foundation and improve upon it. If it wasn't for Bardock's sacrifice, then honestly, the world would not have gotten Goku.
All right.
Nice. Well, very nice job, both of you. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So now that we got that out of the way, let's actually talk about who's winning this. Because I'm not gonna lie, like from our earlier discussions, it kind of sounds like we have differing opinions on this, and not in the way you may think.
No. So I'm definitely going to, if it's okay with you, I am going to expand just a little bit on Bardock, because I feel like Bro did cover Omni-Man pretty damn good.
Sure, go ahead.
Now, thank you. Now, if you paid attention, you have noticed that I chose to specifically scale Bardock to his latest son, Goku. This is because, unfortunately, and I really can't say this in a nicer manner, Bardock is not in a lot of stuff, and therefore we can't properly gauge what his own maximum power of output is. But because he had a power level of almost 10,000, the same power level that Goku had in the beginning of the Saiyan saga, this means that him and Goku are comparable. So that means that Goku being able to take on Nappa, who was able to destroy an entire city in just the flick of his finger, and there's also the fact that he does scale, or could have scaled, to King Vegeta. King Vegeta was the strongest Saiyan at the time, with a power level of 25,000. And as Death Battle Cast showed, King Vegeta was able to destroy 3 planets just by waving his hands. This means that his maximum power output is obviously planetary. And we would also see that Bardock was able to somewhat get close to this if he kept going with his Zenkai boost. Also, Goku in the Saiyan saga was able to beat Vegeta in his grade 8 form. Even though he did minimal damage, the fact that he even did some damage at all implies that Bardock could do the same. But here are the 2 kickers. The first one being the speed advantage. Now, obviously, I think we can all agree, any Dragon Ball character who has the ability to fly and push themselves beyond that can be calced at faster than light. Bardock is no exception to this. However, we don't know what his maximum we don't know what his maximum speed is, but we can scale him. I've chosen to scale him to a filler episode of Goku traveling to Namek in his spaceship built by Dr. Briefs. This spaceship was able to take Goku to planet Namek in approximately 6 days. In those 6 days Goku was training, he came across a meteor shower that was going to destroy the ship, and he was also in the middle of a black hole, which would have sucked him in. So Goku being Goku, got up, got a spacesuit, went out on the ship, and fired a Kamehameha that not only destroyed the meteorites, but with the Kamehameha being a propelled attack, he essentially gave the spaceship a turbo boost, which was able to push it away from the black hole. So these speeds can be comparable to Bardock, because again, Goku was doing this while he was still training, and by that point, he had long surpassed his original limits in the Saiyan saga, which was a power level of over 8,000, not 9,000. And then finally, there's Super Saiyan. I'm going to give him Super Saiyan because I think it is safe to assume he will get it. So, Bardock's Super Saiyan form, yes, the grade 8 form gives him a multiplier, but the Super Saiyan 1 is the most significant, as it gives him a 50 times multiplier. Pretty much going over all of the numbers, By the time Goku was in the Frieza saga, he was able to match final form Frieza in his base form after he had gotten a Zenkai boost and healing from one of the Saiyan healing chambers, and of course being able to fly around the whole planet of Namek in order to reach Frieza before he was about to kill Vegeta. Bardock, in his Super Saiyan form, can be comparable to that, but not so much. As I've officially predicted and calculated with the help of multiple friends who have contributed to this, that with his Super Saiyan transformation, Bardock must be at least on the same level as third form Frieza, which, if you remember, third form Frieza was able to beat the shit out of Piccolo, who had just fused with Nail. Before that, the fusion between the two of them were able to match and arguably best Frieza in his second form, something not even Gohan, Krillin, or Vegeta could do. But when it was third form time, Piccolo and the others were about as useless as ever. So Bardock can and probably should be able to scale to third form Frieza in his Super Saiyan transformation. That's it.
Okay. As a side note, I love like that one of the questions raised in this fight is basically, does Bardock scale to his death? Because some people are scaling Bardock. Now I'll explain why this is the case later, but by later I mean once I get context out of the way. So people are scaling Bardock to Frieza's death ball, which blew up planet Vegeta. Now, yes, Bardock did die from that.
Canonically, yes.
Yeah, canonically, yes. However, it's worth noting that, okay, base form Bardock does not scale to it, obviously.
No.
However, there's a pretty strong chance that he probably does in his Super Saiyan form.
Super Saiyan. Right.
So there's that going on for him too.
Yes, and it should be noted that when Frieza, as I mentioned earlier, Frieza used his Death Ball attack while he was in his first form, and you have to remember the first form is his weaker, sedated form. He has said that he does hold back his true final form, because if he uses it, it's essentially overkill to anybody who fights him. So
yeah,
we can apply the same. No, it's not fun. So that means that we can apply the same logic to his Death Ball, meaning that his Death Ball, while it was big and powerful enough to destroy planet Vegeta, you have to go off of the assumption that was Frieza barely putting any effort into it, because when he would use another Death Ball in his fight with Goku to destroy Namek, this one had a timer instead of it being instantaneous like it was with his held back form.
It's also worth noting to kind of help, to kind of help with Bardock scaling to Goku, at least a little bit, is that in apparently in Dragon Ball Super, Bardock defeated Gas, who was at the time stated to be stronger than Captain Ginyu, or basically he was stated to be stronger than the Ginyu Force.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for mentioning the manga. I did not mention it because again, there are multiple canonicities of Dragon Ball Super, but now that you bring it up, yes, you're correct. And that does mean that Super Bardock is stronger than the Ginyu Force, but here's the thing. The Ginyu Force have stated that even all combined, they are still significantly weaker than Frieza.
Yeah, I guess I should clarify. Gas was stated to be stronger than pretty much everyone in Frieza's army, aside from Frieza himself.
Yes,
I simplified it to the Ginyu Force, but it's basically everybody in Frieza's army. Not Frieza.
yes, this also can, and if you really want to take that as literal as possible, although I don't personally, because we've seen in the original timeline that there is a contradiction to this, is that also could mean that Bardock would be stronger than Dodoria and Zarbon. But where I take issue with this is in the first special, which introduced Bardock all the way back in the 90s, Bardock was getting his ass clapped by Dodoria. And bear in mind, Dodoria stands on a pedestal. He is weaker than Zarbon, and Zarbon is weaker than Frieza. Frieza still being the top dog. So that means that if you want to take the super canonicity as face value, then that could imply that Bardock would be strong enough to match Dodoria and Zarbon.
Now, to be fair, Bardock got clapped by those two in his base form before, which, if you take everything into consideration, that's before episode of Bardock.
Yes. And it also should be noted that Bardock did have a handicap at the time. He did get his ass clapped by Dodoria, but it was because not only was Dodoria way out of his weight class, but it's also because Bardock was suffering from visions of his future.
Right. Okay. So I guess before me and Richard start talking again, ZDogg, you have heard both of us. You have heard both of us talk about these two. What are you thinking?
At the moment, I feel like this could go either way, honestly. But I feel more solid siding with Bardock, if I'm being honest. At the moment. Okay, so I guess I should kind of explain myself.
Yeah.
So that is what this is about. Okay, so I do feel like there's a good case you could make for Omni-Man being faster, and putting him down permanently sounds like it'll be trickier than not, but considering the just overwhelming power that Bardock has, plus with the Super Saiyan, plus with his variety of key attacks and big fuck off blasts, that it sounds like he does have the option of disintegrating Omni-Man into dust, which would include his heart and like vital areas that need to be destroyed for him to be put down permanently. I do think it'll be challenging for both to put the other down, but I just feel like overall, although Omni-Man does seem like also the smarter of the two when it comes to combat stuff, but like, I don't know. I just feel like in the fight to the death, which this is, I feel like Bardock is the safer bet to put Omni-Man down for good. But
it should kind of be noted that at one point Mark was ripped from like his shoulder down to his like waist. It was honestly a really messed up visual.
Right.
But he was pulled apart and he practically died. He would have died had Eve not been mortally wounded as well. And she has this whole thing where like once she dies, she like just comes back to life because
herself or something. Yeah. Is there anything?
As a side note, Eve is goddamn busted. Holy shit.
Yes. Permission to add on to that.
Sure.
Go on.
Okay, so I know I'm not repping Omni-Man, but here's the thing. I guess I might as well just let it be known now. I brought up scaling for Bardock, but the same can be used for Omni-Man. And this mainly applies to, well, okay, Omni-Man is and has been scaled to Adam Eve. Adam Eve was able to go up against one of, if not the strongest Viltrums there was, even possibly on Omni-Man's level. And his name escapes me at the moment, bro. If you know who I'm talking.
Are you talking Conquest?
I believe Conquest, yeah. In any event, Eve was able... Okay, I'm just going to simplify what Eve's power is. Eve essentially has the power to hit you with black holes. Subatomically black holes. And when she hit Conquest, he just took it. He was damaged, but he still was coming after her.
Yeah, remember when I said that other Viltrumites have survived getting their skin burnt off? Yeah, I was talking about Conquest.
Yes, and
so for context, for context, so Mark and Eve are battling Conquest. They're both getting the absolute shit beat out of them, because Conquest is freaking bonkers strong.
Right.
And Conquest basically kills Eve. Like, no real ifs or buts about it. Eve just dies. Like, she gets Conquest straight up like punches her through the stomach. It's messed up and she dies. But because of how her powers work, basically to kind of simplify it, at least hopefully, I don't know, her powers are weird. Eve's powers is that she basically like rearranges the molecular structure of things, because that's not broken in any meaningful way.
No, what are you talking about? That's completely normal.
Completely normal.
Busted.
So, however, she has like these mental blocks that she got when she was being experimented on, which again, really messed up. And basically, if she's like in, I think it's like some form of like extreme stress, which would include practically dying. The blocks are removed temporarily, and because her powers can't affect living matter, like she can't rearrange people. Granted, even if she didn't have the blocks, I don't think she'd want to. But anyways, so she was brought back to life. Her mental blocks were gone, and she blasted Conquest with enough energy to basically melt the skin off. Again, really messed up. This series is really messed up.
Understatement.
The funny thing is, though, is that Conquest survived.
How?
Okay. And again, I must reiterate, and I know Bro also is implying it too, so we're both on the same wavelength. Omni-Man can scale to Conquest, because if he can scale to Adam Eve, who was able to do that to Conquest, then the same thing would happen if he fought Adam Eve. So that means Omni-Man's durability is near broken. When not even the strongest, arguably the strongest character can do little more than come close to melting the Viltrumite skin off of somebody, that means that Nolan is a monster. I should also mention, you did bring up vaporization. I should also mention, because yes, this was something that I debated with your only mate about, and I brought up, and I have been bringing this up, as much as I would like to believe it, I do not think people are understanding just how broken Nolan's healing factor is, because Nolan has tanked heat vision that can vaporize people. Now, yes, people have brought up there were special conditions during that, but it doesn't matter. He fought somebody who has that exact same power that works similar to Ki Blast. And
talking about
there's
Mean
also
Supreme?
Yes, mean supreme.
That's a crossover, by the way.
I know, but
just thought I'd bring that up.
No, it's okay, but it still can be applicable here because we know Nolan and other Viltrumites are not going to go down with instant vaporization, as when Mark ultimately fought Conquest in the fucking sun. And it is stated that their battle went on for weeks until Conquest was pretty much down for the count and dead.
Okay.
Mark barely surviving.
Little bit of correction here.
No, please go ahead.
So first of all, that wasn't Conquest, that was Thrag.
Thrag, my bad.
No, you're fine. Secondly, I don't recall. Now, granted, it's been a bit of a minute, so maybe I'll just go back to the comic to find out, because I know what comic it's from. So, thank you. Taking notes. I've actually been taking Invincible notes for some time now, but I'm not going to get into that. I don't recall them saying that they were fighting for weeks. I know it took a bit of time, and so Thrag did die there. Mark did kill him. However, so part of that is Mark was helped out a little bit by Robot. He was given like one of Robot's like mech suits, which did eventually melt from the sun's heat. But it bought Mark enough time to basically outlast Thrag in the sun. However, had another Robot mech not saved Mark, he would have died like minutes after Thrag did.
Yes.
Okay.
So gaslighting myself aside, the point that I made still stands.
I also
it could have been hours.
Okay.
Could have been minutes. Honestly, I can't remember either.
Okay.
But
I also want to bring this up because it's kind of an elephant in the room. Even though from what I'm going to describe it does not help my case, but then again, I'm not really trying to build a case, so whatever.
Right.
I'm not trying to convince you all that Omni-Man wins. In fact, I'm actually just going to go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. I think Bardock's going to win this, but anyways.
Okay.
I want to talk about Omnipotus. Okay, well,
What?
Okay, so I actually don't want to talk about him, but I kind of have to because, all right, so context. So Omnipotus is a minor character. I'm not even making this up. We're making a big deal over what's essentially nothing. Omnipotus is a pretty minor villain in Invincible. I think he had an appearance in season 2. I'm pretty sure. He was basically like one of the big threats that the new Guardians of the Globe had to fight after the events of, the last team getting murked off and then Omni-Man fleeing. Basically another guy walks in. He's just like super big and he's super strong. His name is Omnipotus. He's really nothing much of a character. And he beats the ever-loving shit out of the entirety of the new Guardians, and then Black Samson comes in and like sends him back to whatever universe he came from. I don't freaking remember.
Right.
But why he's important, quote unquote, is that in the official guidebook, which for the longest time I had no idea existed. Thank you for doing research. So there was a guidebook, and it mentions Omnipotus, and one of the things that it says in there is that it basically something along the lines of how he can. I didn't do much digging into this myself, so this is my bad. But then again, I've always like from everything I've heard about this just does not add up, and I'll get to why that's the case later.
Okay.
So it's not even in the blog either. God damn it. Okay. Damn it.
It's all right. Just rip it off. We got time, man.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember all of this. Okay, so
it's okay.
So Omnipotus is basically said to, like, he consumes energy across universes, basically. And it like adds to his power. And through like some event of some sort, it's like a chain reaction, I think. Doing this like destroys solar systems and universes and all of that jargon. It's weird. It's such a weird thing for such a like a character that has maybe like 3 comic appearances max. So basically there's an argument. So okay. So I don't know what happens to him in the show. Chances are nothing. I say I don't know as if I didn't watch it. I should clarify I don't remember what happened to him. But in the comics, basically, I don't remember if this was during Angstrom Levy or was it Dinosaurus? I think that's what I think that was another one. Anyway, basically, Mark or I think it's Dinosaurus. I think Mark or Dinosaurus basically kill Omnipotus out of nowhere. Yeah, okay, it's Dinosaurus. I just looked back at my notes. I think, if I remember correctly, what happened was that basically Mark and Dinosaurus were like fighting across dimensions or some shit. And along the way, they happened to come across Omnipotus and they kill him. So the idea is that basically, you know, those two, they kill him. Omni-Man, like, okay, I'm just gonna get this out of the way. Omni-Man would beat, even to this day, he would still beat the shit out of his son. Invincible's gotten stronger, but so has Omni-Man. In fact, one of the last comic runs, the two of them had an arm wrestling contest and Nolan still won.
Oh, well.
So that's a giant rip. But anyway, so you know, they killed Omnipotus. Nolan would still scale to them, so naturally Nolan would scale to Omnipotus, right? And the short answer is yes. The long answer is that it's not that simple.
Of course it's not.
For one, like I said before, it was a chain reaction sort of thing, I think. So it was kind of like an overtime thing, which that's screwed over other feats in the past. Also, when he arrived on Earth to fight the new Guardians, he had said that he was reduced in power, so that's another giant rip right there. Let me see. Okay, his claim to have laid waste to an entire star system suggests that his power can initiate a chain reaction of exponentially increasing destruction. So again, chain reaction. During his first encounter on Earth, he indicated to the heroes gathered to oppose him that he was in the process of restoring his power. So none of the Guardians fought him when he was at full strength, and not only did they still get the shit beat out of him, but they only ever won because they just pushed him back through a dimensional hole, basically. So it's like, hey, we don't want you here. Goodbye. And then later on, like I said, I believe Mark and Dinosaurus just kill him. So it's a whole thing of like, it was over time. It was a chain reaction. And he was reduced in power by the time pretty much anybody fought him. So it kind of stands to reason that no one had basically fought this guy at full power. So I imagine, and at that point, I imagine the only reason why this is such like a debate, like does he actually scale to him at full power, is because again, this dude is like a minor character. Like he has one appearance in the show, and I think like 3 appearances in the comics. He is not that important of a character.
Right.
So again, it's just kind of a big debate over essentially nothing.
All right, so I'm going to end it right here and just break it. I'm not rooting for Bardock. I'm going with Omni-Man. Because, yes, I'm breaking the mold here, because as much as I would like to believe, and believe me, look, if this was any other Dragon Ball character, there's more arguments to be made there, abso-freaking-lutely, but this is a very volatile situation. Bardock has the best stuff for him, relies on scaling him to his son, other Frieza soldiers, and at the very most, putting him above the Earth's strongest warriors, such as Master Roshi, and most likely the early incarnation of the Z Fighters, which of course were Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha, and that's really it. But then there's the other factor, like, okay, the experiences that Bardock has are impressive, but they unfortunately are dwarfed by 2 millennia of combat experience and conquering from Omni-Man and Nolan, who has fought people like Bardock time and time again. His people are essentially a more beefed up version of the Saiyans, but with more durable healing factors. Yes, there is the speed gap, which I will actually believe that I can see an argument being made that Bardock is faster, because something that not a lot of people are considering, and even your only mate brought this up when using his own debate, Super Saiyan transformations don't just amplify your power, they also amplify your speed. So, with the 50 times multiplier, and the fact that Bardock in his late base form could scale to Goku in the Saiyan saga, you add on the Super Saiyan transformation, that means that Bardock is definitely on par with his second son in terms of his combat and travel speed, especially during the start of the Frieza saga when Goku first arrived on planet Namek. I can actually see.
I should note that the feat you brought up of Goku reacting to asteroids, I've seen calcs for that reach like I think it was like 2 trillion times faster than light.
Yes,
that's without Zenkai boost, Great Ape, Super Saiyan.
Yes, and that's a good point.
Meanwhile, what we have for Omni-Man, the best that I've seen was what they brought up in the preview, which was I think it was 20 billion times faster than light, which is good. That's great. But it's that versus trillions. That's a gap.
Yes, it is. And so again, I do believe that Bardock will take it in speed, but even then, that's not very significant in terms of this contest, because as you brought up, Omni-Man has fought people faster than him, and he somehow managed to keep up because he's most likely relying on his combat experience and his own observational skills of how he can track faster opponents, like the Red Blur. Then there's the final, and then there are the two final. There's really the main final nail. Power can be debated, and it can go either way between the two. Maybe there is a case to be made that Bardock may take it in terms of raw power once you add on the Super Saiyan transformation. But then there's the whole durability aspect. The durability aspect between these two is largely significant. Bardock, while he may be a great fighter, he's not invincible, no pun intended, or ironically, I guess you could say, because Frieza's held back attack in his first form killed him and many of the other Saiyans. And once again, I must iterate, at that time, Bardock was the second strongest Saiyan Planet Vegeta had ever produced in terms of low-class warriors. The first one could also be Nappa. Nappa was a low-class warrior himself, but then he climbed up the ranks to an elite Saiyan. So there is that. But then there's also the way of, okay, how, and I've asked this question to Your Only Main, and I've asked this question to everyone else, and obviously they've given me the same rudimentary direct answer, but it's not as simple as that as you think it is. How can Bardock kill Omni-Man? And bear in mind, there is the obvious answer of his signature move, the Spirit Cannon, being able to do it, because that is his strongest attack. However, you have to remember, Omni-Man has been through battles that legitimately should have killed him, but because nobody thought to go for the heart or the head, he still keeps going. And there's also the scaling to Adam Eve, which when Adam Eve fought Conquest, and as I said, Omni-Man can be scaled directly above Adam Eve and even to the likes of Conquest, because other Viltrumites likely can do the same. I do not see, even if you make the argument that Bardock somehow takes this fight out of the atmosphere, there's also the thing to consider. Bardock is a Saiyan, and Saiyans cannot breathe in space. So if he says, take this to the sun, for example, then he'll just kill himself.
Okay.
Because
if you want to get
Omni-Man can breathe in space.
If you want to get super technical, Omni-Man technically can't breathe in space either.
No, that's why I corrected myself. I said he can hold his breath.
No. Yeah, in a space battle, Omni-Man would definitely have the edge, for sure.
Yeah, I mean...
So, okay.
Okay, one last thing. Sorry, just one last thing. One more thing. The last thing to consider is, yes, Omni-Man, if you just look at this from the perspective of, well, one has no ranged attacks and the other does, I can see how Bardock would be favored, but you have to remember, just because Bardock has ranged attacks, that doesn't exactly make them unlimited, because he and any other Saiyan have a finite amount of ki. Once they use it all up, they're essentially sitting ducks, and that's the thing. We've seen Omni-Man have unlimited amount of patience when it comes to figuring out how he can best defeat his opponent, and there's also something else to consider. Once again, his military genius when it comes to conquering other planets and taking down people who are above his level or below his level.
I mean, yeah, no, I don't think anybody's arguing that Omni-Man has the advantage when it comes to like skill and experience. Like that's pretty clear cut.
Yes. Now, I want to also make one last preference. If we were allowing Bardock to have, if we were including crossovers, then this would actually be still somewhat close, but it would end with Bardock taking the victor, being the victor, because in Heroes, that Bardock that did survive ultimately got controlled, then broke free. He ultimately became a Super Saiyan 3 because everyone can do that. And furthermore, he unlocked Super Saiyan 4. Those are two strong transformations that can do a hell of a number on Omni-Man than regular Super Saiyan.
Didn't Super Saiyan 4 Bardock fight like Ultra Instinct Goku?
He was able to go up against Ultra Instinct Goku, but he still got his ass kicked. But the point, the fact that he was even able to go up against him in his strongest form, that speaks volumes to Xenoverse/Heroes Bardock.
I mean, on the other hand, if we were including that, which we're not, but if we were including everything, Mark technically killed Spawn.
Yes, you are correct.
So I think that matches up. But anyways, that doesn't matter because that's not being factored in. So here's my thing. Since I never really explained why I think. So I'm repping Omni-Man and I think Bardock's gonna win. So I should probably explain myself, shouldn't I?
Just a little.
So I think speed might be a little weird because the Goku feat comes from filler, but at the same time we're using Bardock, so like if we're like Bardock himself is kind of one giant piece of filler.
Yeah, all that goes out the window.
Yeah. I think Power's probably just gonna I think Bardock's just too powerful.
But I'm gonna interject because I know you said, Richard. I know you said something about that, like how does Bardock put down Omni-Man? I'm wondering the latter. Like, if Bardock is that much stronger and faster, especially in Super Saiyan, like, what is Omni-Man even gonna do to put him down? That's my thinking.
Simple. He crushes him. Like, okay, if you factor in, okay, I didn't even mention the Ozaru form. It's not that much of a giant leap to just assume Bardock can rip off the tail. If Yajirobe could cut it off, then Omni-Man.
No, I totally expect a scene in the fight where like Omni-Man either so I could see this going two ways. I wanted to bring this up when we were talking about the animation, but I felt it would be better to talk about it here. A scene that I think would be really dope. So I see this working two ways. Either a way I've heard in the Discord, or a different way that I've had Nate describe to me. But the way the Discord has it is that basically Omni-Man, like once Bardock goes into his grade 8 form, Omni-Man basically like grabs Bardock's tail and like Loki's him, and it like he just like he just happens to be strong enough to rip the tail off. Now, granted, obviously Omni-Man would not know that that's a weakness of the grade 8 form, but he doesn't have to. That's like it's a giant open target. That's just a sound strategy, you know, like
Exactly.
Another way I've described it is that Omni-Man because Saiyans have to look at the moon to because it relies on a full moon, yeah.
Yeah.
So like Saiyans have to like look at the full moon to reach their grade 8 form, I believe. So Omni-Man's gonna be like, wait, so he just turned into a giant monkey, but before that he looked at the moon. Well, I know what I'm gonna do real quick. Just flies up to the moon and just like punches that really shit and shatters it. So yeah, I don't think the Great Ape is going to really do much for this. It's cool that we're getting it, but let's be real.
It's window dressing.
Let's be real. The key player here is the Super Saiyan form.
Yes. I should also note. Okay, I'm just because Bardock has Super Saiyan. Let me just say this: Bardock may have a Super Saiyan transformation, but please also remember this: it's not instantly a be-all, end-all when it comes to him winning, because you have to remember, this Super Saiyan transformation comes from a non-canon special that they're definitely going to give him, because it at least gives him a better chance. But beyond that, he only unlocked that form, and after that, he kind of just fucked off and went somewhere else. So it's most likely to believe, in my opinion, it's more believable that he may get a power increase, but that isn't going to exactly be the definitive end, because he has not mastered that transformation. It's essentially a new ability that he's just using. He's essentially acting on pure rage and nothing more. It's not controlled, because there's a difference. Dragon Ball has made it apparent. There's a difference between a newly unlocked rage-filled Super Saiyan and a controlled Super Saiyan. A controlled Super Saiyan is able to do extensively more damage than somebody who just unlocked it.
True.
And this is evident when Goku was training with Gohan in the hyperbolic time chamber, and he pushed Gohan to unlock Super Saiyan, which he did. However, Gohan was just a rage-fueled machine who didn't know how to control his emotions and get a handle of his sense of character. Goku had to actively teach him how to calm it down, and over the course of their training, he taught him how to better utilize Super Saiyan to where every time they transform, they can just stay in that form with no loss in stamina or ki. Bardock does not have this training or mentality. It's literally a new blunt instrument.
True.
Okay. All right, but yeah, let's let Bro speak because I kind of interrupted.
Yeah, no.
So, okay. So here's another thing. Talking power. So you said that King Vegeta can destroy he destroyed 3 planets with a wave of his hand.
Yes.
Now, would you say that Bardock is comparable to that even without a super form?
No. I cannot, because if that were true, he would have. Again, it's the same argument that, okay, by when Goku is Super Saiyan, it's said that he is planetary level, but he has not destroyed a planet. It's just his raw power. Bardock is a completely different story. Bardock is essentially as strong as his son was at the end of the Saiyan saga and when he started training in the Frieza saga. So that means that Bardock is not even close to that kind of power, because it was literally told to him.
Okay, but you said that
strong.
You said that Bardock can reach that power with Zenkai Boost.
He could have, is what I'm saying. In the original Father of Goku special, in the Japanese translations converted to English, the medic told him that he currently now had a power level of over 9,000. If he kept coming back from his missions half dead and using these Zenkai boosts, he could one day be just as strong as King Vegeta. I want to put emphasis on could have been, because I said it multiple times, Bardock later on was going off to fight the people who killed his team, and then after that, he was going to die. He was nowhere near King Vegeta's power level. He wasn't even nowhere near Nappa's power level.
Okay. Okay, so eventually Bardock would reach that level of power. Then compare that feat to what I think might be the best feat for Nolan, which is when he destroyed planet Viltrum. Now, I will grant, I have no idea how big planet Viltrum is. I know there's been attempts to try to figure that out. However, so King Vegeta did that with the wave of his hand. Nolan did that while flying at max speed alongside 2 other Viltrumites that are about as strong as he is. It should also be worth noting, I didn't mention this because I'm not like entirely 1000% sure how this affects anything, but I'm gonna bring it up anyway. I ran out of air. All right. There was a little moment when Thetis made a comment on. So, let me pull up my notes again real quick. Basically, before the 3 of them did that, they had to destabilize the core of Viltrum. And Thetis even points out that if they didn't do that, then Thetis even claims that if the core stabilized before its destruction, the trio would die on impact. The 3 of them would fly into Viltrum, land, crash on the ground and die. So there's something to be had there. But even still, even if we want to let's take the best possible route for Nolan's and the worst for King Vegeta's. So Nolan, let's say Nolan by himself, which is clearly not true, but let's just go with that. He flew through planet Viltrum, burst through the core, came out the other side, and the whole planet went kaboom. That's him flying at like with all of it, with basically everything he's got. King Vegeta was just like, all right, dead. It should also be noted that Vegeta himself like pointed at a planet at one point and it blew up. Because I mean, there was obviously Ki involved in it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, you get it.
And then for the healing factor, okay, I agree that Nolan's more experienced, smarter, more skilled, blah 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 blah. I think the healing factors are oversold here. Because again, yes, they are crazy. Like Viltrumites have survived some like gruesome shit, but again, they take forever to heal.
True, and I mean with Bardock having a speed advantage, that does not help his favor here.
Yeah,
that does not help in Nolan's favor here. So,
and hell, I'll even say this. So, I mean, great that this does have like some varying degrees to do with the brain, but whatever. We're talking about like we're talking as if Bardock needs to like completely vaporize Omni-Man to finish the job, but really like Thrag killed Thetis by ripping his head off. Like that was it. Like Thrag just like flew up to I'm not even saying like Thetis put up no fight. Like after they destroyed planet Viltrum, Thrag was like, all right, you're freaking dead. Flew up to Thetis, grabbed him by the head and ripped his head off, and then he died.
Fine.
All right. We should finish very soon.
True. Yeah, we still have more to cover. So,
yeah. Well, let's just end it with summaries, I guess.
Okay.
Okay.
So for me, I think
final statements.
Yeah. For me, Nolan is faster if you don't include filler, but not if you don't. Not faster if you don't include filler, but not if you do. He's more experienced. He's got better skill. He's smarter. He's got all of that going for him, but I just don't think he's strong enough to get the job done. I ultimately think Bardock's power, especially in his Super Saiyan form, is gonna be enough to take Omni-Man down for good.
I think okay, so one last thing I'll mention is I don't agree. I think that Omni-Man does have the power necessary to get through Super Saiyan, because again, I feel like I've been addressing the point as plainly as I can, but to make it as simple one last time, Bardock can be scaled to his second son in his first fight with Vegeta. Vegeta put all of his power to destroy the planet, and if anybody notices, Goku had to use all of his energy to hold that attack off. That means that Goku barely had any energy at that point to destroy a planet. If anything, he probably had enough power to destroy a moon with that attack. So that is why, even if you add on the Super Saiyan multiplier, I don't think the power gap is that large, and I think Bardock can get through it. Not only that, yes, I actually can submit. I think with the filler, Bardock is faster. But Omni-Man has faced faster opponents before. Where this ultimately lies in Nolan's favor, I believe, is the durability and the experience. Nolan is over 2 millennia. He has been fighting for over 2 millennia. That is more experience than Bardock ever had in his short life. And essentially, Bardock is an infant compared to Omni-Man. And then there's also the durability. I do not believe that Omni-Man can be killed by a Ki Blast, and people are very much overselling that as an end explanation. Omni-Man's durability is far greater than anything Bardock has ever seen before. If this was a Bardock who had more power, then I could see him overtaxing that healing factor. So with that being said, I'm staying with Omni-Man.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say it. I think this is gonna be a hard-fought victory, no matter who wins. But I am sticking with Bardock. Ultimately, while it does seem like Nolan has some solid advantages, he is the smarter and more experienced fighter. I just think that Bardock's overwhelming strength and speed is just gonna overwhelm him. And I don't see a world where, I don't know. I just don't see a world where Nolan overpowers Bardock or takes down Super Saiyan, while Bardock has easier in quotation marks, an easier way to put down Nolan than vice versa. So I just feel like it's going to be a hard-fought match no matter what, but I feel like Bardock is going to be the safer bet here, which is why I am siding with him. So, yeah.
All right, there you go.
All right, well, coming back with a split.
Backs.
Nope. Coming back with a split.
When you watch the episode and we all watch the analysis, we're sticking with who we are going for here. So even if they bring up something for Omni-Man or Bardock that changes the outcome of this fight, you're staying with who you're staying with.
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
Yep, this is final call before the analysis. Bardock for me.
Right.
Omni-Man for man. Omni-Man for me.
And Bardock for me. All right.
Starting off with a split. Let's go. All right. We still have more to talk about, and we've been talking for like 2.5 hours. All right.
Let's use this last hour carefully.
We really are back, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Yep.
All right. But yes, we still have
a nice, simple, and quick discussion. This is bad. No, I'm sorry. That's the wrong franchise. Sorry. Wrong franchise. We're not talking about that today. Even though I would really like to, but anyways.
All right, let's do it.
Yep. So, we have some matchups to talk about. So, okay, I should clarify for today, since we don't have a lot of time. And
we weren't going to have a lot of time to begin with.
True. For this episode, we are only we are going to talk about the Kickstarter because, duh, you expected us not to. But for this episode in particular, we are only going to talk about the full matchups that we know. So we are aware of there's the rematch poll that ended by the time that's been over by the time we're recording this. We know about certain animators coming back. We know about a certain episode that will be a third in a trilogy, but we're not going to talk about those today.
Nope.
Basically, what we're going to be talking about today for the Kickstarter, we'll talk about the others on later podcasts. You'll see that we'll progress through them as we go through each episode. But But for this episode, we're only going to be talking about the matchups that we're only going to be talking about the stretch goals that were 2 more episodes, including
such and such.
Yeah, as well as the bonus episode. We will be talking about that today, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. So.
However, because there's so many of them, and we've already been talking for over 2.5 hours, I'm setting up a timer.
5 minutes.
We have 5 minutes. We're going to talk about each matchup for 5 minutes, and then we're moving on.
Yep. And considering they'll be getting full discussions later, I think this is only fair.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We'll be giving them all their due once they are coming up.
There's just a quick initial thoughts and opinions because of course we're going to talk about them. So don't worry, we'll be giving them their official episode treatment when they happen. Yeah.
All right.
So I'll start the timer when we reveal what the matchups are. So first up, our first goal, the initial goal, which was like what was it, $75,000?
$75,000.
Yeah, which they reached in like 20 minutes. God damn. I was saying this in the intro, and I kind of got sidetracked. But when we were planning out that video we made, I mentioned that I was like pretty sure that we were gonna reach what depending on the number, we were gonna reach whatever goal they set in like a day. I think I said depending, it might take like even an hour. I was never. You could have told me that we would fund it in 21 minutes, and I thought you would be freaking crazy.
Yeah, but here we are.
Yep.
But that goal, it was 4 episodes, including Omni-Man versus Bardock, and the one I think we have a bit more to talk about.
Heck yes.
Bowser versus Eggman.
All right, start the timer.
It's already started. We're finally doing it.
Yeah, I'm excited. Oh my goodness, I can't wait.
All right.
That's a good one.
This is going to be y'all's segment, so I'm just going to get mine out of the way in concise seconds.
Okay.
I am not as excited about this matchup as these guys and the rest of the world are. I look forward to it. I did grow up with both Mario and Sonic. I love Eggman and Bowser. Obviously, I've watched everything with them, almost played everything with them. They're great characters, but this fight is just not, nor has it been, on my most requested matchups. But I am looking forward to seeing what this insane, crazy SOB Moro is going to do with it.
Yeah.
Dude, Moro is a monster and a half.
Yeah, indeed. So I guess real quick. So yeah, some of you might know that Moro did make a tweet back at the start of the year that he would be working on a fully animated fight for season 11, or well, once was season,
season 11,
and what's one? Yeah, you get it. Yeah, this was that, and holy shit! It looks so good.
So to kind of like put into context just how much of a monster this guy is, not only Bowser versus Eggman is not only like a crazy match in and of itself, but we're also getting a full-on army battle. And I'm not just talking about like Ultron versus Sigma, where the army was in the background, but the main fight was Ultron and Sigma. No. See, you see, that would be the easy way, but no. These guys are coming in with not just like their armies, but all of their armies.
Yep, including like one-off characters, including like
from every
all their main armies.
Yeah, and every series.
It's gonna be insane, and I'm so excited.
And we will definitely be letting you know just how crazy that is when this episode comes up. But not only is that all well and good, but this is a hand-drawn fight.
Yep, fully hand-drawn. What the hell?
This is our first hand-drawn fight without Luis.
Yeah.
Sure, you're right. Huh.
Like what? Like we're getting a full-on army battle where the army is actually important and it's hand-drawn.
Sorry, third. It was third. My bad. Continue.
The Madman. But yeah, regardless, the Madman, and yeah, with how important Mario and Sonic are to both me and Bro, just man, I'm done. This is gonna be good. This is gonna be so damn good. I cannot wait.
Yeah. I am beyond excited.
Yeah, I think I can speak for both of us. This for me and Bro, this is the announcement to get us the most excited out of all of all of these. And oh boy, yeah.
It helps that we have a preview. Now the preview isn't finished and it doesn't have a background yet.
No. But still,
it looks amazing.
And yet it's probably still
Mario reference.
And yet it's still probably my favorite preview of that we've seen.
No disrespect to Devil, no disrespect. As soon as I saw this, I'm like, My God.
Yeah. I'm seriously can't wait.
Oh, and as a side note, the guy we did hear a little snippet of Eggman's voice from the fight, and he
Please
sounds
be Tom Schultz. Please be Tom
sounds
Schultz.
he sounds whoever it is, he sounds great.
Indeed.
It's
sounds
not
really good.
It's not quite like I'm. There's some voice actors that I'm a little picky about. It's not quite Mike Pollock, but it's close.
It's close. It does the job, I think.
Yeah.
So.
My only hope at that point is please get someone for Bowser. Don't let him just be voice clips.
Yeah, please. Oh boy. I imagine they'll get someone.
The banter between these two would be fire. I mean, like the Mario movie got away with like having a full voice actor for him and using game clips. So like, why can't Death Battle do it?
Just get Austin. Just get Austin Lee Matthews. Honestly, there you go. He did a good job as the one Jack Black character. I don't know who he would get otherwise, but yeah.
Whoever it is, I hope it's. Nope, time. All right.
Wait. Finish your thought, and then we'll go.
Okay, I'm just gonna say whoever they get for Bowser, I hope he sounds more like Henny James than Jack Black. Because
fair enough. All right, and we're moving on.
Because Bowser's game voice is fantastic. All right, yep, moving on. Now
we'll see.
We got a bonus episode. We're already there. So one of the stretch goals that was just kind of like mentioned. It was just kind of like the first stretch goal is like we get a champion coin. Okay, cool, whatever. I say that it's a really cool thing. I just like that's that's what they were hyping up, and that's not even what I'm the most excited about. Because as a little plus, that was just there. It was mentioned that Liam, our good buddy, the man, the myth, the swan, Liam gets to make his little passion project that he's been talking up for over a year now.
Yep.
About a year and a half. About 2 years.
Yep.
We'll say 2.
Sure. It's basically his next big passion project after Dark Souls versus Skyrim.
Yeah, which means it's going to be good, probably.
Yeah.
Indeed.
It's the final one in the trilogy.
And that my good friends, my lumpies and germs, is Light Yagami versus Columbo.
Lieutenant Columbo.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Lieutenant Columbo.
Sorry. Yeah.
I will respect the title. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, timer starts.
Yeah, timer started. So go.
All right.
Yeah,
look, before you go.
I feel like this matchup was inevitable, whether or not if it was a stretch goal or not, because obviously Liam has been talking about and memeing this fight for ages. It's gotten a lot of clout, and yeah, I mean, I think it's a neat idea. Glad Liam gets to cook. I'm really interested because it is going to be a bonus episode, so it's probably going to do something weird with the format. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be a straight up fight. I feel like that's semi-obvious.
No. Yeah, no.
If you know this. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really interested to see what he'll do with it, honestly.
As a newly fan of Columbo, I am so fucking excited for this fight. The Columbo series is fan-fucking-tastic. Like, I'm so sad I never watched any of this whole series. But yes, I applaud Liam for finally getting to complete the trilogy after DDogg and Dragonborn Skyrim. This is going to be fucking amazing. Sorry, Dragonborn, Skyrim, Dark Souls, whatever.
Yeah.
And I am just very excited to see it. It is going to be untraditional. You are correct. And if that means what I think it means, because I've already pictured the fight in my head. I've read a Death Battle fan script that is the best use of these characters that I've ever seen. If Liam can come close to that, holy shit. And also, too, one thing I'm very, very excited for, and so is Liam and the crew, is that they pretty much all but confirmed that Gianni Montegrano is going to be voicing Columbo.
Hell yeah.
Because Gianni Montegrano can do a spot-on Peter Falk Columbo impression. So let's fucking go.
There you go.
Yeah, Gianni was basically confirmed in every way except officially. They basically confirmed he's voicing him without actually saying, "Hey, by the way, Gianni's voicing Columbo."
Right.
Yeah.
This fight fascinates me. I'm not like super knowledgeable on either Light or Columbo. I definitely do need to watch both these shows.
Same.
But
and we will.
But I've always thought because the more untraditional style of death battle is fascinating to me. Like, this is not going to be a death battle. Like,
no. This is going to be a death battle presents.
Yeah. And if it does well, which I hope it does, because that would be great for Liam. Maybe it could mean that we would get other matchups similar to this. I saw I was about to say unprofessional. That's not the word I'm looking for. What the hell? Unconventional is the word I was looking for. Stupid brain.
Yep.
I'd definitely be open to more of those. Like, take the death battle format, do it, experiment with it.
Yeah. Obviously, like, it's gonna be the same in the sense that, like, there's gonna be research involved. They're gonna figure out who wins. Blah 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 blah. It's just gonna be like, it's just not gonna be who wins in a battle to the death. It's gonna be who wins in a certain situation that we currently don't know, and I don't think even Liam knows right now.
It's gonna be an intelligence duel.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a battle of wits.
Yes.
But the obvious question though that we don't have the answer to, and we don't, even if we did, we don't have the time to talk about it, is basically just what the scenario is. Like, because
I imagine it's gonna be simple. That Light, like, Columbo's just trying to catch Light. I imagine it's gonna be something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Yes. Whenever, if nothing is revealed by the time this fight does happen next year or later down the line, I'll talk more about it.
Yeah.
Because I have a theory.
I think the obvious way to go about it, because I may not know Death Note, but I do know that, like, one of the main things is the Kira case. Basically figuring out that that, spoiler alert, you know, if you, assuming you've never watched Death Note, that
That's fine, I don't mind.
Light is Kira, basically, and Kira's like a super, like, serial killer or some shit, and time's up, god damn it. So basically, like, it's, can Columbo solve the Kira case? I think that's, like, the obvious scenario.
Yeah, agreed.
Cool.
Obviously, and just all the research is going to go into that instead of just saying who would win in a fist fight, because neither of them have thrown a punch.
Agreed.
I'm pretty sure Light has.
Well, no, Light can actually fight.
Okay,
but it's not what it's not what he's known for. Is what you're trying to say. I get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
And then we have another stretch goal. I don't remember what the dollar amount was anymore, so I'm not even gonna bother. So we have another stretch goal. I think it was the next stretch goal after the coin and the Light versus Columbo.
It was, yes.
Okay, cool. It was 2 more episodes, including the runner-ups on both polls that it's been on. And we're probably going to get it before the winner of the last poll. Huzzah! It is Kratos versus Asura.
Kratos!
About time. Well, glad it can't be cucked out of another winning spot. So, you know, that's nice to see.
Go.
I totally imagine either A, this fight was going to happen anyway, or B, it, like, lost the poll, and then Devil was like, because I remember when it lost the poll, when it was announced that Wiley versus Tom, which by the way we're not going to talk about today.
We already talked about it. Go back to that episode. Anyway,
when that won the poll, Devil posted like a tweet, basically like it was that "fine, I'll do it myself" meme. And Devil was just like really like, "Come on, let's do it, come on." And they're like, "All right, We'll do it. Sure.
It's probably the latter, I would imagine.
I can believe either.
Yeah.
But I also respect Devil's passion because God damn that preview.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Devil
really
is
good.
a huge. Okay, let's just get this out of the way. It's a fucking obvious one. Devil is a huge God of War and Asora's Wrath fan, and he was the right person to choose to solo animate this episode. Now, that teaser, I don't believe it's actually part of the official fight. I think he just made that as a way to get people hyped at what he's going to do.
I can believe that.
Yeah, because no one on the official Death Battle crew has confirmed. Oh yeah, that's what the fight's going to look. That's actually a clip from the fight.
It also doesn't help that every like line of dialogue in that preview, which there are some, but they're all voice clips. That's not. There's no.
They're taken from the God of War series.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. Look, I've said it before, and I've said it multiple times. Kratos has deserved a run back for a long time, and it is finally good to see him back. And I'm so happy, for obvious reasons, they're using God of War Kratos, because that's the most recent, and that's arguably dwarfed his previous version, the Greek version. It's going to be so cool to see these characters interact, because there's a lot more these two have in common than one realizes. The amount of so much animation potential Devil is going to do with this fight. And also to including the script, storyboards, and just everyone coming together to give Kratos a good run back. It's going to be fantastic.
And then getting Asura an episode freaking finally.
Yes, no, we're not doing Asura versus Asura. No, not Asura. I can't remember. Atrocitus. Thank you, Atrocitus. We're not doing Asura versus Hulk. No, we're doing fucking Asura versus Kratos. This is it. This is his one and only good fight.
Okay, well, I wouldn't say that, but I'm completely cool with this fight happening. Because, yeah, both have been overdue for the show for one reason or another. It's neat that it's finally happening. I'm excited to see what they cook with it. So,
yes,
yeah.
Yeah, no, I got nothing.
Are we done?
So fucking hyped for this.
Are we?
Yeah, no. Do you have anything to add?
Not really.
I'm glad it's happening, but like I don't know what else to say about it.
Look, I'm happy it's happening, but I think had this fight come out sometime during season 8 or season 9, it would have been the perfect opportunity. But I feel like as time has gone on, it's kind of lowered my excitement for it just a little bit. I am happy it's happening, but it feels like
I think part of that is like both Kratos and Asura are both pretty crazy characters. It's kind of a reason why they held off on doing. It's why they held off on doing Cole versus Alex for so long. Because like if they did it back in the day, they would not have been able to do it right. But I think now, especially with Devil on board, they feel pretty sure that they can do it right. I mean, if Devil was like literally like on his knees, like hands up, begging and crying for this fight to happen, which I can only imagine that's what he was doing, and I think that's a hilarious mental image. I think he can cook.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Again, just it would have been nice long ago. All right. Okay. We're done.
Yep.
All right. That's cool.
I got nothing. Yeah. Let's go.
We did good.
Yep. And then we have another, 2 more episodes, including blah 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 blah. This one kind of came out of nowhere, though. I saw this one.
Very excited.
I saw this one pop up when they were like, it was under their like, like get to this number and it'll unlock this matchup kind of thing.
Oh boy.
I saw what the matchup was for the first time, and I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I expected them to do it eventually because it's a big match, but like,
Thank you.
But like that's freaking random. That's a random match to put on the poll. I'm of course talking about Mahito versus Shigaraki.
Yeah. Okay. To be fair, I will kind of defend it. Yes, it is a bit random, especially when other these series have other matchups you could have gone with. But I think with My Hero ending and My Hero's anime and JJK's manga ending soon, I think it makes enough sense to put it on here. I mean, with how well JJK, Gojo versus Makima, and the other My Hero fights did decently well. Anyway, yeah, I feel like these two, while the pairing while it might not be the one we expected, I think it makes enough sense to add as a stretch goal to get people more excited. So I get it, and personally, I'm glad it's here and we got it because I'm very much looking forward to this fight. If you couldn't tell by how much I'm talking about it, because yeah, I think you can do a lot of weird, creepy body horror stuff with it. Get a lot of cool fight potential, and yeah, I think just seeing these two covered is just cool in general. So I am very much looking forward to this one, despite how odd it may seem at first glance that it's here. So
okay, yeah. Let me rephrase. I don't think it's odd that this matchup exists because this feels like we did a blog on this match and already I was sold.
Hey, hell yeah, that's good.
Even if I don't really give much of a shit about either of these characters, but that's neither here nor there. It was more just random, that it just popped up on the Kickstarter. I'm like, oh, of all the matchups you've I mean, that's no shade against this match. Again, I'm down. It's just of all the bigger matchups I was expecting them to put on there, I was not I was not expecting Mahito versus Shigaraki at all.
I guess, yeah, this is a bit less known of a match compared to, Bowser Eggman, Kratos Asa, ones that have been around for, ever.
Yeah.
So, that makes sense.
But still sounds dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, this fight's not for me. I don't care for it. Don't care for the characters. Yes, I did watch My Hero at once upon a time, but I fell off of it after season 3 and the first movie, so this is probably not going to have any impact on me. I'm happy ZDogg and Bro and everyone else have it, but it's not going to be my my cup of tea when it comes out. But I'll still give it a fair shot.
But I can already tell I'm probably going to be the one who likes this episode most when it comes out, because as the biggest JJK and My Hero fan here. So
well, yeah. As a side note, I just think it's incredibly funny. Only in Death Battle can you say oh yeah, this episode's gonna have this really weird and gross body horror. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, out of context, that sounds a little weird, but I mean, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I would get into who I think wins this, but that's not really important right now.
That's it. Exactly. Just know it's going to be really cool. I do think a lot of people are unfortunately sleeping on this because, again, it's one of the lesser known matchups of the revealed.
To be fair, its competition is steep.
Yeah, I do not blame it in the slightest. Trust me, but I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised when it comes up. Hopefully.
Yeah. No, I agree. No, this episode sounds like it'll be freaking cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had to pull up the actual Kickstarter after this because the order after this gets a little muddy.
Because if I'm not mistaken, this next one was actually a later one. But, shit happened.
So, I mean, okay, I can end the timer for that one.
I was gonna say, I think we're done.
So to make a long story short, the next stretch goal was supposed to be, we get a documentary series, a sort of behind the scenes on the show, and that sounds cool, and that's something they still like want to do, but they figured that the funds should the funds from this Kickstarter really should go to more Death Battle episodes, like first and foremost.
Right.
That's also why
the extra stuff can come later.
Yeah, that's also why we even now like we still don't have any like major news on like their side shows like Desk of Death Battle or DBX, or Death Race. Like we know they still want to do them, and like they're not just gonna say, oh yeah, by the way, these shows are over, we're not doing them anymore. Because there's always there's always gonna be the possibility. But right now, the priority is let's just make sure Death Battle survives for a little while, okay? Like we can work.
Its main focus is Death Battle. All the other stuff can hopefully come later.
Yeah. We can worry about the other stuff later, and that includes this documentary that we had talked about. So instead, they took the documentary out real quick, and put in its place the matchup that was at the time the one that was promised, is like, you reach this number, you get this episode. We eventually did reach that number, but that was already moved at the time, so rip. But we're still getting it anyway, so smile. And I am of course, this is obvious, right? I'm of course talking about freaking Aang versus the Traveler, like.
Why would you not be? Why? I would be surprised if you didn't bring up that.
So this matchup is an anomaly.
This kind of came out of left field. Okay, so I have heard of this matchup before. I think this is like one of the biggest. Okay, keep in mind, this is coming from someone who is kind of alien to Genshin at the moment. I don't know, that might change, who the fuck knows. But from my understanding, I think this was the most popular for Traveler or Aether, Lamine, whatever. This is the most popular for them at the time, but it just kind of died down in other matchups like Byleth for Traveler or Hero of the Wild and Poe for Aang just kind of came up and usurped it hard. So it's one that I'm sure a lot of people haven't heard of in a while and weren't expecting, but I mean, I think it makes sense to be here. I mean, whether you like it or not, and trust me, I know there is a wide variety in both ways. Genshin is extremely popular.
I hope I have enough time to talk about that, because I want to clear up a misconception.
Sure. But no, Genshin is extremely popular, and the team has shown interest in it before, and I mean, it's Atla. Yeah,
shout out to
I don't
DJ
think that
Tiki,
needs.
by the way.
Yeah, that's the DJ. Woo. And Atla is Atla. I don't think I need to explain anything. So yeah, I think this makes enough sense. But anyway, I'll let you guys talk for a bit.
All right, so I'm just going to be more concise. I'm going to be as concise as possible. I don't like this matchup. I don't support this matchup. I think this is probably not going to be my cup of tea again. From what I've talked to with my other friends who are hardcore Genshin fans, they're not on board with this matchup, and they have told me there are much better choices for Genshin to get into Death Battle than this, and I'm inclined to believe them. I really am disappointed that this isn't Aang versus Captain Planet, and I'm very serious about that.
I believe you. Sorry.
I legit I don't see the appeal, and I think this is just it does feel like a good way to get Genshin on Death Battle, but I feel I'm more ready to believe my friends that okay, but there were other matchups that could have included better Genshin characters. One of them is requested to fight Jetstream Sam, which sounds more appealing to me than Aang versus the Traveler.
Okay.
So yeah, sorry.
Well, I'm sure you have Brobuscus with the Sam one.
Okay. Well, I'll keep my opinion on the match nice and short. I don't really have any strong feelings one way or the other. It's cool that Aang's coming back. He kind of deserves it.
I will agree with.
Sure.
And like, hey, maybe there was better options to bring Genshin on board for the first time, but like, I don't really care. Yeah, I'm also kind of alien to Genshin, but again, that might change. I don't know. I've thought about it, but anyways, no, the main thing I kind of want to bring up for this is that there seems to be this like, oh man, I remember when this match was announced, and people started going apeshit. And it was around this time when the Kickstarter started to like pause a little bit when it comes to funds. And people started blaming this matchup for it because hey, it's freaking Genshin Impact.
No, okay.
No.
No.
And I just want to say that no, shut up. I probably would be more inclined to believe that if all the people who had backed out weren't in like the highest tier possible on the Kickstarter. And friendly reminder, that highest tier involves flying to Dallas to watch a live premiere of Omni-Man versus Bardock.
And have dinner with them, and for them to pay for your hotels and fees and shit.
Yeah, but like that's a commitment, and that's a time commitment. That's a funding commitment. I know they're paying for a lot of shit, but shut up. I think people underestimate just how much goes into something like that, even if they're not paying for shit. So no, time's up. But no, I don't blame this match for the Kickstarter's pause. I just think that that would have happened anyway. It's Kickstarter. Yeah. That shit happens.
It was probably just unfortunate timing on this match's part, which
yeah.
I
know we're out of time, but I'm just to dive into it a little further. I would have believed it if it was like a bunch of $1 donators or like $5 donators that were backing out. But like if you're gonna throw $5,000, that's how much the final tier was, by the way. If you're gonna throw $5,000 into a Kickstarter campaign, I think you're mature enough to realize that I think you're mature enough to not back out just because you like a matchup you don't like.
Yeah, but I was gonna say. Plus, again, that's not the only matchup you're like you were pledging for. There was like 20 plus matchups that were gonna be alongside it. So
yeah.
Oh, well.
So, anyways, enough of that. Let's move on. Next up we have. So, okay, this is going to be a weird one. Mostly because of how they've been labeling it versus how they've not been labeling it now, but we'll get to that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, no, we're done with that. Never mind. We're done with Aang versus Traveler. I should stop talking.
Yeah.
So the next tier is 2 more episodes, including Ash versus Yugi.
The 200th episode.
Yeah.
So this is
shit.
Okay. So this is weird. So I don't know when they did this, but so when they announced that this was the next stretch goal, they included the label that it was episode 200. And that makes sense. You know, it is a ginormous matchup. Holy shit. But at some point, and again, I don't know when, but at some point that episode 200 label was removed.
No, what?
And I'm not entirely sure why. I believe I've heard through the grapevine that, granted this is the grapevine, so, you know, don't take this as fact, but, I've heard that they're still not like 1,000% sure on like the order. The Death Metal Crew, I'm gonna say it. The Death Metal Crew don't give a shit about the order of the episodes.
Right. Just whatever gets done gets done.
Yeah.
I imagine.
Yeah, pretty much. So I think they removed the label of this being episode 200 as like a just in case, you know, something weird happens. Because episode matchups get like freaking jigsaw puzzled all the time. Like that just happens. Some of them get pushed back to later seasons. Bowser vs. Eggman. Hello, anybody? That was apparently supposed to happen. That was apparently supposed to happen not just last year, but the year before that. And
okay.
and hell, even like Magneto vs. Tetsuo was supposed to happen during like their big legacy season, and then it didn't.
Right.
But episode 200 or not, this episode is gonna be freaking dope.
Heck yeah.
I don't know what people want us to say without going into without going onto a full hour-long explanation. Yeah, this is the playground matchup that we've all debated from our childhood. It's finally happening. I want it to be great. I have an idea of how it could be great. I hope it's great, and I'm excited for it to happen. I cannot wait for this episode to come out. If it is episode 200, that's perfect. If not, fair. I'll take it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be the first to admit that I'm not a crazy Yu-Gi-Oh fan. In fact, I'm going into this like relatively blind on Yugi's abilities and summons and whatnot. I should note, as far as like, okay, so as far as I know, no work has been done on this episode yet. But at least that was the impression I got the last time that anybody talked about this match. Anybody higher up, I mean. But I think the general like idea behind this is that both of them are getting everything. I know there's this question of like, is Ash gonna go in with only 6 Pokemon? If he does, I'm gonna have some major questions. The first one being why? Like it's just like, I know there was this whole rule about like trainers can only carry 6 Pokemon, but A, that's dumb, and B, it's limiting, which is also dumb. Also, I've heard, again, I don't know, but I've heard that there's a mechanic in later games that get rid of this rule entirely, so rip.
Well,
it's also just more fun giving Ash everything.
Exactly.
So, yeah. I've been talking this whole time. ZDogg, you have like 40 seconds to say something.
I mean, I don't know what I can say. It's cool. Glad it's finally happening. Excited to see these two on. Happy for my friends who like both these shows that they're on. Gonna probably be wild. I'm very interested to see who they'll determine as the winner, because from what I hear, it's a decently debatable match, but we'll see. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Glad it's happening. Hope it does end up being episode 200, but we will see.
All right. I will say to wrap this up, I've been binging the shit out of Pokemon to prep for this. So get ready.
Okay.
And there we go.
All right.
Sick. Okay. I think from here on the order should be fine. The whole Aang versus Traveler thing kind of like threw everything for a loop. So so I'm like making sure that the order is still right, but I think it is.
Cool.
Okay. Next up, I'm excited to talk about this one, even though I don't really know much about either character. We are finally getting freaking Simone the Digger versus Kyle the White Lantern. Let's go.
About time, honestly. Like,
yeah,
man, it's crazy how like boosted up this matchup has been in the community, and how we're finally getting it after all this time. The will of the Jill is too strong. Sorry.
All right. I have one problem with this fight.
What's that?
Okay.
And that it's not Green Lantern Kyle, because they have confirmed it's just White Lantern Kyle. Now, this is more for a future episode. We're going to touch on this later, but I will say this. You take away the Green Lantern Kyle, you essentially take away the will versus will. And also, too, let me just say this, because as somebody who has seen panels, who has been told by friends, and who also has a friend who is an expert on both of these characters, White Lantern Kyle is the most boring son of a bitch of a character that there is. And that immediately brings the fight down for me. That being said, I am so fucking hyped for this match. I've been excited for it. I'm going to get myself invested in it. I've started reading Kyle's early runs. It's great. I'm gonna watch Gurren Lagann, and all I ask for is that they, in some way, somehow, let a certain friend of mine who's been on this show have some kind of control when it comes to how this fight is done. Because let me tell you something, the script that he's had for this fight for years upon years upon years before he was even hired at Death Battle, it's a fucking masterpiece. And I'm so fucking hyped for this.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope. The way they described it when they reached this stretch goal was like basically imagine Galactus versus Unicron, but more anime. And just like that, you sold me. I'm good.
No. Here, no, fuck that. I'll sell you better. That's a pitch. Here, I'll pitch you better. Imagine Thanos versus Darkseid meets Galactus versus Unicron on a fucking near outer-versal scale, motherfuckers.
Either way, I'm sold, honestly. So you didn't have to sell me. Although I'm curious because I know you did bring up White Lantern. So White Lantern does he still has like all the construct stuff, right? It's just
No, he doesn't. He doesn't use constructs.
Weird.
Okay.
He chooses not to.
Well, it's also worth noting as a White Lantern, White Lantern, like if you thought Green Lanterns were busted, holy shit. Because White Lanterns have like, if I remember correctly, White Lanterns have like all of the emotional like spectrum,
Yes.
Like it's not like if you thought Hal was busted, oh my god. You haven't seen anything yet. So yeah. This fight's gonna be a little wild.
Hell yeah. And I'm here for it.
Yeah. And hey, if they can find some way to like put in like maybe a leitmotif of Will of the Drill, or maybe just like remix it to like better fit the fight, that'd be freaking dope.
Yeah. I mean, they did remix some of fuck, what's the name of the Strongest Alive, the Marvel for All.
Marvel for All, yeah.
They did remix some of in Strongest Alive, so it's not impossible. But I do hope they just outright remix it because gosh, that sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm excited for this. I need to watch Gurren Lagann. Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's
26 episodes.
Yeah, it's a 20 episode Trigger anime. How have I not watched it yet?
Yeah, I mean, I know this is probably off camera stuff, but I mean, once we finish watching something, I mean, there is the option to do it together.
True.
Just we'll see.
Yep. And time. All right, good. That was
perfect. We've been doing good on this time stuff. I'm glad.
We're getting better.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now we come to the episode that I am almost a little uncomfortable talking about, but all right, here we go.
Oh boy.
I shouldn't say uncomfortable. That sounds bad.
Look, man, just rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, you're right. So the next stretch goal, man, if you thought that the split off once Rooster Teeth died would affect certain characters getting in any meaningful way, prepare to be hilariously proven wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because the next stretch goal we got is the long-awaited, long-requested even by one of the characters' unfortunately dead creator, Ruby Rose versus Baka Alburn. It's finally coming. It's a fight that Monty's been asking for so long. And who am I to deny that, really?
Exactly.
All right, I'll be concise again, because this is going to be quick for me. With all respect, with nothing but all due respect to Monty, this fight is not for me. And I know you all thought I was going to say something insulting. Well, no, because apparently you can't even say that. So that's a whole nother can of that's a whole nother can of worms.
That's not, please.
No, the man had every right to want to see this fight, but it was never meant for me. I fell off of Ruby a long time ago. I've made that clear to everyone around me. I have not seen Soul Eater. I do not see the appeal in this matchup beyond the greater scope of it's something Monty would have wanted. Do I think it could be a great episode for its fight animation potential? Absolutely. There's no question about that. It'll be two scythe-wielding characters. That's something we haven't seen in Death Battle. This is true. Now, that all just being said, it's at the end of the day, it's essentially going to be a fight I won't be heavily invested in, one way or the other.
All right.
And
I guess. Should I get my thoughts out of the way?
Yeah, you go.
All right. So, finally getting this one. It's about time, honestly. I understand why they didn't do it before, but I think it makes sense to do it here as a stretch goal. It does kind of feel weird that it's not being done when Ruby's over, because I know that's a big thing. Like, oh, we should wait till Ruby's over. I mean, I know that they haven't done that with characters like Deku and...
I don't think they care about that anymore. I'm going to be honest with you.
I was gonna say yeah, but I feel like for this fight it made sense. But we're getting it regardless, and I mean, I do enjoy Ruby. I haven't kept up with it, which I know Bro will annoy me about. But I do enjoy Ruby as a character and a show. I haven't seen Soul Eater, but Maka seems cool. I'm excited to see the fight we get. I'm sure it's gonna be cool. Glad Monty's finally getting it. And that's all I have to say. It just neat it's happening. I'm not 100% invested, but I have confidence it will be pretty damn neat. So okay.
And then there's me, who's like, everyone here is like, oh, I'm not super invested in it. And then there's me, who's invested for all the wrong reasons. Because straight and simple, I don't really care for Soul Eater. I tried watching it a few years back, and it just wasn't for me. I've considered trying it again, but I don't know. However, I am a monumental Ruby fan.
What?
Yeah, I know, crazy. I know. I'm just as shocked as you are. So I mean, I'm never gonna say no to a Ruby fight because those are usually pretty dope. But as you can probably imagine, if you've kept up with debate on this fight, I'm not exactly thrilled about talking about who's winning this one. Because straight up, no matter what you do, I don't see Ruby winning this, and that's gonna make me very upset. There are just certain characters that I get like emotionally attached to, even in Death Battle, where like that, like whatever happens to them doesn't matter. And as you can probably imagine, Ruby characters are among that, and so you could probably understand that I'm not exactly excited to see the main character of a show that means a lot to me die. Beyond that, I think it's a dope matchup. I'm glad Monty got the match he's he wanted for so long. And like Richard said, the actual fight is probably going to be freaking dope. But it's really just it's not even just that Ruby loses this fight, it's the fact that Ruby 100,000% loses this fight. That's got me like okay. That's time, but the last thing I'm going to say is like this is without question the least debatable matchup on this Kickstarter, and it features a Ruby character, and I'm freaking pissed.
Valid.
I mean, hey, as long as as long as I know this is not going to be the case because I know this goddamn community. As long as now that the two companies aren't owned, now that the two shows aren't owned by the same company anymore, maybe we can stop with the whole Ruby bias thing that happens even when the Ruby character loses.
Thank you. And you know what? Even if that's the case, I hope the fact that the maid, like, listen, I respect your feelings towards Ruby, and I don't want to see her lose either. I just really hope that if nothing else, it'll stop when the main character of the show loses.
Oh, it won't.
Like, please.
It won't. Because I saw I saw that shit when I saw that shit when Weiss died. Like,
yeah, I don't.
So
whatever. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
All right, but anyway.
But anyways, moving on to something. Well. Moving on to something more positive. Thank God.
Yeah.
Agreed.
We have another Tournament of Champions match to talk about. And no, I'm not playing the soundboard. Why do you ask?
Oh yeah.
Aww.
I'll. No. No. The answer is no.
Restrain yourself.
Yeah. No,
Fine.
I'm not doing. No, I'm not doing it. But yeah. This match is. I'm just gonna get it out of the way. This match is freaking dope. We're talking about Hulk versus Godzilla. They're finally doing it. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Yeah. I again, admittedly, kind of one of the weirder ones. I mean, obviously, I understand, but it does feel kind of weird that they would choose this. I mean, obviously, it worked because we did reach the stretch goal, but like, it's an interesting choice. But you know, I'm looking forward to it because I think it's cool as well. I did bring it up when we talked about it in its tournament week, but does kind of feel weird to get that Hulk's getting a third episode like after Broly. But I understand why, and I'm sure there's going to be some freaking cool stuff done with it.
I mean, yeah. To be completely fair, like Hulk's first episode was, season 3, and it is one of my favorite episodes of all time, but it is an older episode. That was also before like Devil Hulk, so there's that too. And then Hulk versus Broly. I don't want to get like accusatory here because that's obviously not what we're here for. We're here to celebrate, goddammit.
Exactly.
But even though I don't think there was anything malicious happening behind the scenes, like Hulk's research in that fight is weird.
Valid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this episode will kind of give him like more shit to cover, and hopefully get him better. To clarify, I like Hulk versus Broly. It's a good episode, but again, Hulk's research in that episode is weird.
That's fair. That's completely fair.
Mm-hmm. I'm not as excited for this as everyone else is. I mean, yes, I am looking forward to seeing Hulk and Godzilla, but I wished it would have been against other opponents. That being said, it is going to be interesting to see how Hulk is handled a third time around. I would only be hyped about this matchup if it was MCU Hulk versus MonsterVerse Godzilla. If it's going to be regular comics Hulk versus a composite of all of the Godzillas, then I kind of have an idea of where to go.
Well, I mean, they sold me on this match when Chad brought up the idea of freaking like Hulk pulling a puny god on Godzilla,
which he can do.
Yeah, he can do that. That's no big deal. Compared compared to other things Hulk has lifted or moved, Godzilla's a paperweight.
Exactly.
Like this son of a bitch like pulled two tectonic plates together. Like I think he can lift up Godzilla.
Yeah, there's no sweat, don't worry.
But the idea that got me was that it's like the cameras from like further out, like outside the city. So like you don't see Hulk, you just see Godzilla getting flung around. And I just think that is freaking hilarious. And if they don't do that, then this episode is a 0 out of 10.
Valid. Yeah, I agree.
Because this is what sold me on the. I mean, I thought this match was kind of cool as is. Then they brought that up. I'm like, this is the one. This is the one. Let's do it. If we're gonna do Hulk again, if we're gonna do Hulk or Godzilla again, boom. And sure enough, here we are. And hey, we're doing Godzilla again. That's cool.
Yeah, bad time. Like, well, the last one, because this is a season 2 episode, and then there hasn't been any Godzilla mashup since
we had Mecha Godzilla.
Franchise. Yeah, that was the last time the franchise appeared, wasn't it? Damn.
Yeah.
That feels weird, but okay.
I mean, we were decently close to getting King Ghidorah, but then it just happened to be it happened to be in a competition against freaking Cole versus Alex. It was never gonna win.
And Kratos, let alone it also being against Kratos also as well.
True.
But
yeah, this is gonna be
neat.
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun match, and it's also gonna be like if it is like Comic Hulk versus Composite Godzilla, which just seems to be the idea. There's gonna be a lot of questions and debate about this one, and I'm excited.
Indeed, I'm very curious who's gonna win. Even though I'm gonna feel bad if Hulk goes 0-3. Like,
I know, right? Like, can we not?
That's gonna feel weird. Like,
I know, right? I'm not gonna get too far into my thoughts just yet because it's not what we're here for, and B, we don't have enough time, and C, I don't really have much of an idea. But I'm rooting Hulk so hard, not just because I like him more, but also because, like, man, going 0-3 would suck.
I'm rooting for Hulk myself. I would like Hulk to win.
Yeah, I hope he wins, but we'll see. I mean, hey, it's not the first one to do it since Goku.
True. And time. All right.
Okay, cool. But
all right, last one.
The last one, the last one, which
this
technically
one was given to us actually.
Yeah, technically we didn't reach it, but you know what? We almost we almost did 10 times the goal. I think that's how I defined it.
This Kickstarter, just a heads up, this Kickstarter was exactly $10,000 away from being 10 times the initial goal. So like we literally saved this show with our generosity. So I'm like really hyping us up. I'm making it sound like I'm never mind. So basically, even though we didn't reach this stretch goal, the Death Battle team, being the based team that they are, decided to give this one to us as like a thank you.
And considering what the matchup actually is, I do not think there will be a single complaint.
No, probably not. And we are of course talking about at long goddamn last. We're talking about Gru versus Megamind.
Megamind.
Okay.
About damn time.
Okay. Does anybody else feel weird knowing that this match is actually happening now?
Yes. It's been a long time coming. I've wanted it. It's been in my top 10 requested fights. I was sad that it didn't get to move on to the TOC last year, but it's very nice that it was here. I think even they realized, like, okay, look, we have to do this fight because it Despicable Me is growing ever so fucking big and massive with its popularity. And now that Megamind is back with, unfortunately, I never thought I would say it like that.
For better or for worse.
For worse. With a new movie and TV show on a streaming service that nobody has but me and a small select of people. it feels good to finally have this fight. Yeah, no, I've wanted this fight for a long time. Megamind is one of my favorite modern day DreamWorks movies. And yeah, I mean, I did love Despicable Me 1 and 2. I think it should have just ended there. I've not seen Despicable Me 3 just based off of the trailer. I've not seen Minions. I've not seen Minions 2, The Rise of Gru, and I still have not seen Despicable Me 4. Like, to me, Despicable Me has become overrated.
Yeah.
And yes, so these two this has been a long time coming, because these two actually have been rivals since their movies came out months apart from each other, and both of them...
Literally, Despicable Me came out like 5 months after Megamind did, and it so killed like the hype around Megamind.
Yes, it did, and so much so that people even debated, were the teams that ran these movies ripping each other off? Could they have known?
Yes, because they can do that in only 5 months.
Yeah, exactly. There's always been a huge conspiracy about this. I want this fight to... Honestly, look, if Ash versus Yugi is not the 200th episode, if Kyle versus Simo, if Simone versus Kyle isn't the 200th episode, if they were to just cut away Gru versus Megamind is the 200th episode, I'm like, sign me the fuck
Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this.
Heck yeah, it's gonna be really good.
I'm so happy this match exists.
Gun.
I was gonna say, Megamind better use the dehydration gun, or it's a 0 out of 10 episode.
Yeah. You wanna know something funny?
Had to get them in there.
You wanna know something funny? Is that joke has become so oversaturated that it's literally like, it literally gets like, if you say that in the Discord, you get timed out.
Oh my god!
Like they have like an auto timeout for certain phrases. Some of it makes sense, you know, like like depression stuff. I've made a mistake there, but whatever. I won't go into it on video.
Okay.
Well, maybe I will after we're done, but we don't have time. We've also been talking for 3.5 hours, so I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah,
now.
so let's end it.
But so like if you say dehydration gun in the Death Metal Discord, you get timed out. Because that freaking joke has gotten so oversaturated lately. And you know this community. Once they say a joke, they'll say it like 100,000 times, because that's not annoying in any meaningful way. I'm looking at you, every single goddamn person who posts a time, I'm going to kill you.
Thanks for the tip.
Well, there you go. Well, sorry, Richard. Richard. You had a good life.
I know. I'll come back.
Anyway, sorry, I had to get that off my chest.
It's okay.
Good, but yeah, no, glad this fight's finally happening though. Like,
yeah,
no, it deserves it. I want this to be like this is gonna be my Bowser versus Eggman.
Yeah,
I can see that
in terms of the army fight.
Yeah. How many minions are gonna die? We must take. How many minions are gonna die? We must take count.
None at all, because the minions can't die.
Oh, well, damn.
I mean, even if some do die, it won't be enough. Because
damn.
Goddamn, screw the minions.
Just keep Bob alive. That's all I ask. Anyway.
Dave's okay for me. I don't mind Dave.
All right, good. Anyway. And that's it.
Yep, there we go. That's all the matchups revealed in the Kickstarter that we're getting. And just as
battle is back.
Yep, and just as a friendly reminder, there's still like 10 more that we don't know anything about.
Yep. Yeah. Don't forget, we got like at least one extra each, aside from any traveler. So
yeah,
that's gonna be fun to learn about.
Yes. And so also too should note, from October of this upcoming month to December, we're getting 4 episodes. Those are most likely the 4 episodes that we funded.
They're going to be coming out like the original old schedule when they were seasons. We're going to get a new episode every 3 weeks. And then just by the end of December, we'll get the 4th episode. And then January, we're taking a hiatus, and they're coming back in February.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I think the general idea was that, so the initial goal was those like finishing those 4 episodes. Those 4 are what we're getting this year.
This year.
So we're already like 2 weeks away from less than 2 weeks away from Omni-Man versus Bardock. So we got that and Bowser versus Eggman and 2 more that we don't know about, and those are happening this year. After that, so someone timed it. I think the last episode this year comes out like the first week-ish of December. So after that, there's gonna be a little break. They said that they'll come back either late January or early February. With
my bets are early February.
So they're even though it's not seasons, they're technically calling it. So these 4 episodes is technically Death Battle 24. That's what they've been calling it. And then the next 12 episodes, I think, are going to be Death Battle 25, and then so on and so forth. At least until. Yeah. So obviously right now we don't have seasons, but that could change later. So maybe like. Yeah. Down the line, once they're more comfortable with how they've been releasing episodes, they'll be like, okay, so then we'll just have this be the end of season 11. We're bringing the idea of season 11 back, I guess. I don't know. They'll figure something out. But what we got right now is just a minimum. Sorry. No. Yeah. So yeah, these 4 episodes will be every 3 weeks. So we have Omni-Man versus Bardock in 2 weeks as of recording this, I should say. I have no idea when this episode's coming out. And then after that, it'll be on a 3-week basis until episode 4. And then they'll go on a little break. And then next year for Death Battle 25, it's going to be every 4 weeks.
Yes, once a month. We're getting new episodes, and that'll start from, let's just say, optimistically, let's say they come back late January. Okay, so that means we're going to get a new episode for the next 11 months. So that way they can cover all of their ground. So yes, every new month we'll get a new episode, and then towards the tail end of next year, when it's all said and done, that's it. And then we wait for the next batch.
I think I remember timing this. I believe if they start Death Battle 25, like literally the first Sunday of February, let's just say that, then if we continue on this on that release schedule, we're gonna get 2 episodes in March.
Yeah.
So,
but if they let's say if they go in late January, which what would you consider late January? January 27th or the 28th?
It'd be the 26th. That's the last Sunday of January.
Okay, so let's say it's 26. Okay, then that means we're getting 1 episode per month.
Yes, I believe that is true.
But that's for future us to know. So future us, let us know if we were right.
us like mid 2025. We'll look back at this and be like, haha, stupid.
Stupid alert.
You dumbasses.
Gosh.
If you only knew.
Yeah. Also, what should mention one more thing, and then we'll probably be wrapping up. I know that's probably gonna bring up the question: what does this mean for our seasonal rankings? Well, our yearly ranking. Okay. So, correct me if I'm wrong. So we are going to be doing So we're going to be combining the ones for Death Battle 24 and Death Battle 25. So we're not going to be doing one of the 4 episodes of this lineup. So we're going to, our next ranking will be all the way at the end of in January 2026.
That is correct. Yes.
Yep.
So it's going to be a bit, but I mean,
because as you can probably imagine,
because
as you can probably imagine, ranking only 4 episodes is freaking boring.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like we need this to be special.
Actually, wouldn't that add up to 16 anyway? I just realized.
Yes. Yep. No, that's exactly right. Yes.
Yep.
So
it's perfect.
I don't know if that was planned, but okay.
12 plus 4 is 16. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was planned, but I mean, hey, it works.
Yes, Richard, that's good math you've got there.
Thank you.
Anyway, so
smart, Alex. But yeah, no. Okay.
Anyway,
so So sorry in advance for that. You will have to wait until January. We don't even know if it'll be January because again, our season rankings take time.
It might be bare minimum. It'll be like late December of 2025.
Yeah, late December. We're gonna try. Like if we will try to get it out by the end of next year, around late December of 25, before the new year.
Yeah. We will 100% at least try to get it done before Death Battle 26. That's ultimately the goal.
Yeah.
But sorry if you just like that. Sorry, but like, what the fuck else are we supposed to do here?
Really.
It's a bit of a tricky situation. So
it's good to be back. We're happy to be back. Thanks for keeping us in your hearts. Bro and I and ZDogg all made our own individual content. Death Battle will take up a priority for us, but that doesn't mean we're not going to stop producing our own original content. So just bear that in mind.
We still got a bunch of stuff in the backlog, so get ready.
Including a potential playthrough with me and Bro, which you may or may not have forgotten about.
And also we've got more multiverses videos.
Yay!
Yeah, more than the one. More than the one I uploaded.
Trust me, they're in the pipeline. We swear.
Yeah.
They need to be. Otherwise, they're going to get deleted.
Yeah.
Don't remind, Bro. But
thanks for that.
All right, but that's it.
Indeed.
All right. So do you remember the outro now? Is what we must
Shut
remember.
your goddamn mouth.
I had to do it. I'm sorry.
I do want to say we've been going on for a little while, but I have to get this out of the way. I know this year has been kind of strange for all of us. No one saw this coming. But I do want to say that I do greatly appreciate all of you guys' support during this kind of like transitional period. It was more of like a temporary transitional period, but like, you know what I mean. And I mean, yeah, my analytics haven't been like the best since the Rooster Teeth shutdown. Because as we all know, if you're a Death Battle content creator and you make a video that's not Death Battle related, nobody freaking watches it. But but whatever support you guys have been giving me throughout this little period, I greatly appreciate it, even if it is small. But as an aside, that freaking I made a celebration video once the Kickstarter wrapped up, and the support for that has been freaking wild. Like, what the hell? That's one of the most popular videos I've uploaded now. Like,
yeah. Okay. So I guess can we talk about our own stuff for just a minute before we call it? Mine won't take long.
Make it quick.
Yeah. That's all right. Give me a minute. All right. I also just want to say thank you all. I was able to work with my friend Max, that Max, who is now back working full time at Death Battle.
Mm-hmm.
He was able to help me out.
The best video he and I worked on was my Space Ghost video, where it was full motion comics with a full set of cast. It was my best work. I'm proud of it. I am going to start on it again with the next video. I'm going to try and get out content as frequently as I can. So yes, I'm very excited. And I also got my old channel back. Yes, including a lost episode of BrobusCast.
Oh yeah.
That we thought was gone forever, but no, I have it. I've sent it to Bro. We're gonna maybe as a Christmas present, maybe as not a Christmas present, maybe as a January present, we can upload that in the year 2026 to hold everyone over.
We'll see.
Who knows? But yes, thank you all so much for supporting me.
I don't have much to say. Thanks for keeping up with our stuff. If you've watched my channel, thanks for that. Actually, I do want to take this moment quick. If you've been supporting the daily Death Battle account that I've been running along with Call Me Koto and Zach Mario, or is it just Zach? Mega Mario on Blue Sky. Thank you for that. Running that account has been a lot of fun since everything went down, and yeah, I mean, if you haven't heard of it, it might be in the description for you to look at if you want, but we'll see. Yeah, but no, means a lot and all that stuff.
All right.
So,
and with that, we are finally going to wrap up because this is becoming a feature-length film at this point. Yeah. But I mean, hey, at this point, if you've kept up with this podcast, you should expect it at this point. We go on several massive tangents.
Yeah.
But
we wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. But also, like, we all, like, this show almost died. Okay, like, yeah. let us have this.
Exactly. Maybe we can plus we had a new style that we had to try out, so maybe we can work on shortening that as well. But we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah. But very much glad to be back.
Indeed. But with that, hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoy Omni-Man versus Bardock. Hope you guys are excited for that. And we got a bunch of new matchups coming up. Thanks to this Kickstarter that I hope you all are super excited for.
Let us know which one you're the most excited for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, please do.
And we can safely say with full confidence that we are so back. And we did indeed.
It's only gonna get better from here.
Yep. And we did indeed save Death Battle.
Yeah.
So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.
Geronimo.